Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 28th meeting of the Blackstone Millville Regional School District School Committee. I would please like to invite any third graders that are here with us this evening to come forward. How we usually start our meeting is with a Pledge of Allegiance, and we do it on camera, and the flag's up here. So if you'd like to join us up front, we'd love to have you say the pledge with us. But for the rest of you, please stand. No third graders? Come on.
Who's brave?
What? Second grade. I'll take the second graders.
Dr. Remke, did you voluntold her?
There's another brave
Here's
soul.
another
There
brave
we
one.
go. Look, we got a third.
Come on, anybody who wants to come say the pledge with me. Ready? Okay, the flag's right there. All right. Are we ready? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. What's your name? Michaela. What's your name, young man? Blake. Thank you, Michaela and Blake. That was wonderful. And anybody else who was too nervous to join us, but said it anyway. I'm Jane Reggio. I am a school committee representative from the town of Millville.
Tara Larkin, Millville rep. Tammy Lemieux, Blackstone.
Patty Sacco, Blackstone.
Terry Gaudette, Blackstone.
Tim Howell, Blackstone.
Matt Aaronworth, Assistant Superintendent.
Jason DeFalco, Superintendent.
Well, welcome everyone. We're going to start our meeting tonight hearing from our student representative, Kylie.
Student Council is planning their annual Powder Puff game the day before Thanksgiving. All fall sports have participated in the division tournaments last and this week. Volleyball is in the finals, playing Douglas at Whitensville Christian at 4 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. Boys soccer and girls soccer were playing today. Their final game today. Seniors will be holding their annual Halloween breakfast and costume parade tomorrow. Our second Charger Community Day is tomorrow. Students will be divided into small groups to work on relationship building throughout workshops. Band won their last weekend show this Saturday, and this Saturdays have been moved to Wednesday the 3rd. The NHS field trip to Purgatory has been postponed due to the rain, and yearbooks are now on sale, and Bmrsd Newspaper Club has printed their first issue of the year.
I did get my first issue. Did you all get it?
I did.
Pony
Express.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Next, we have warrants and meeting minutes from September 16th and October 14th. I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda A with those items. So moved.
I second.
Thank you, Tim. Been moved and seconded to approve the warrants and minutes of the meeting of September 16th and October 14th. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstention? Well, we generally start our meeting with a public forum where if anyone from the community has something they would like to address with the school committee or something they would like to say, they are invited to come forward and share that information with us. So is there anyone who has something they'd like to share? Okay, so hearing none, we will, okay, just in time. Older or younger?
Middle school.
Right. Not making it easy. No, okay, we're good. Okay.
You want to do that?
Sure. At our last meeting, we shared with the public the results of our MCAS. And when we do that, our state testing, the Massachusetts state testing of students, we tend to focus on where the trouble areas are. And sometimes neglect the real highlights. So today it's really an honor and a pleasure to recognize the highlights of our state testing, and that is those students who scored in exceptional levels, and their families who should be very, very, very proud of them. So we are going to start with our youngest learners, and we invite our principals up, and they will call you. And we have, let me explain. We have a certificate for you, and we have a pin of academic excellence. And we started giving these out a couple of years ago with the idea that if you collect one, whenever you collect one, when you graduate and you're proudly wearing your BMR, what do you call those things? Stole. What? Is it a stole? Oh, stole. Okay. I'm going with that. I don't know, but you know, the yellow things you wear around your neck, you can pin these on. So if you start in the 3rd grade, you get one every year. Imagine what it will look like when you graduate. So we're very proud of you. We're proud to recognize you. And so we'll invite the principals up from the elementary schools, and we'll do our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, right?
We'll go around the front if that's all right.
And what we'll do is we'll do you individually, and parents can take pictures, but then we'll have all the elementary come up and take one big photo.
So, good evening, everybody. It's so great seeing all of you here tonight, and we are doing the thing that we like to do the most, is to celebrate your amazing children that you share with us. For those of you who don't know, I'm Jason DeFalco, superintendent, and really excited to be here to honor and recognize our students. As Ms. Reggio said, this year we are recognizing students that have achieved at really high levels on our state assessment. And it is important that we pause and take time to do that. But I want to share that we are looking at students that were not just in that seating expectations category. That's like the exemplary category. That means they're well beyond those grade level expectations. These are the students that scored in the top 20 points of that range. So there are students that did really, really well and worked really hard that also were in that exceeding level. But we took the students that were right at the top. It's a 30-point range, and we looked at the students in the top 20 points. So students, all of you sitting here tonight are in that top 20-point band, and some of you had perfect scores. So if we could just give a huge round of applause. And really, you know, when you think about achieving at those levels in last year's conditions, right, that was far from a normal year. It's one we certainly hope to never have to do again. But it's even more exceptional that our students were able to do that under those conditions. So I'm just so proud of our students. And so we've asked our principals to join us tonight, and they're actually going to call our students up. And we'll read the student name and the subject area, so we know if it was English or math. And then we have certificates and pins. I don't know who wants to start where, but.
Well, this one is actually from both of us. Gabriella Askew.
Yeah,
Do you want to take a picture?
yeah, come this way. We all see you.
I don't really like it at the table, but that's okay. Got it.
Congratulations.
So next one is Ava May Carney for English Language Arts. Liam Uglow.
Well, Liam bought new clothes. He told me today. He's like, he's not He's so excited.
You look great.
Congratulations.
Good job.
This one is Betty Stapleton, and hers is English Language Arts as well.
And families, we're going to do a big group picture at the end with all the students.
Don't go
yeah,
away.
if you could just sit tight, it'd be great.
The next one is Kaden Chacon.
look over this
All right,
way.
then, let's do this. Wait a minute, this is Mrs. Rapka. Good.
Next one is Gabriella Asante.
The next one is Ivy, and actually Ivy was remote, she was both schools, so Ivy Maloney as well, so she was English language arts with a perfect score.
We won't forget about them. There we go. Here we go.
You can.
Right.
Oh, I thought,
I'm joking.
I thought you were done.
The next one is Macy Weber. English language arts score 505.
Right this up.
That's it.
There you go.
Which way are you looking for?
Honey, over here.
And then over here.
Thank you.
One more right here. Nice.
Nice job.
The next student is Cole Greenwood, and that's mathematics.
Yeah, that's a tough one to do.
I'm the other one.
Oh, whoa.
The next one is, used to drive me nuts, but he's great. Brendan Foster, mathematics 541.
He's not wrong.
Oh my God, that's great.
All right, me too. Thank you.
And then here. Oh, Jane, don't move.
Next job.
So this next student is Joseph Lafayette for mathematics.
On the move. That's good to see. Come on over. Come on. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute.
All right, ready? Good.
Next one is Grace Pedras, English language arts 559.
One point away from a perfect score. You forgot a comma somewhere. You get it next time. Awesome job.
The next one is Braden Rosen in science, technology, and engineering.
Oh. Yeah.
This one
Another,
definitely.
definitely. Hold on.
And the next one is Garrett Koznansky for English language arts.
One more round of applause for our elementary students.
Let's bring them all up.
And yeah, elementary students, if you all want to come up together, we can get a big picture of all of our last year's grade 3 through 5. So
Yep,
come on up, bring your
we just
certificates
called
with
your
you,
name, come back up.
and then we'll move on to middle school.
If any teachers here,
Well,
would you
back
come
up.
up? Danielle?
Yeah, if there's any teachers here, please come.
They're switching this way.
Oh, yeah,
Come
we're
on,
gonna
Couple of
this way.
Come on back
You
here.
gotta squeeze in, everybody.
maybe like turn.
And we can do two rows. Here we go.
Come on, for guys, we got one over here.
I hate hate that the table's in front, but I'll live with it. Squeeze it in.
She already said it. Pretend we like each other. We love each other.
Hang
Less
on.
than 15 minutes.
All right, I'll just zoom in on this. Jenny's phone is being temperamental. Got it.
Great job.
Where's Miss Kurt? Miss Kurt, you want to join us up
Oh,
front
wait a
here?
minute.
Good feeling.
We're gonna skip to high school.
Oh, we're gonna skip to high school. Hang
We're
on,
gonna
Miss
skip
Kurt.
to high school. We're skipping the middle school. We're trying to hold off here.
Where's Miss Fowlis?
Oh, there.
Miss Fowlis, if you want to join us up front.
I think you put some on, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, not that you're not important, Jill. You're very important.
Oh, keep it.
But
Just
no,
keep
no.
going.
Yeah.
It's good.
But we were waiting for our parents, so.
Oh, we can wait.
Harry, is your?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yep, okay.
Oh, great. You have the 8th graders in here as
Tanya's
well?
doing them. Nope.
Tanya's gonna do the
Yep.
8th grade. Okay, so 10th grade.
Oh.
All right, for excellence with ELA, we have Grace Spot.
You gotta
Turn
squeeze
around.
in for a picture.
Yeah.
Turn around and smile. Okay. Wait, put my glasses on. There you go.
Congratulations.
That's 8th grade. Okay, another excellence in ELA is Ian Davies. All right. Excellence in ELA, not just excellence, but a perfect score to Natalia Zerwanka. There you go. Excellence in ELA, Sierra Grabowski. Where are my people?
That's all right.
See, you get to high
They're
school,
at band.
you gotta have
Oh,
better
they're
than
at band. Yeah,
Oh, they might
band.
be at band, yeah.
All right. Someone who I know is here. Excellence in ELA and scored 2 goals today. Madison Godet. See, we embarrassed you a little more.
Please don't stand in front of any of us.
Excellence in ELA, Nicholas Olson. There we go. Congratulations. Oh, turn around right here. Excellence in ELA, Rory Haggerty.
Got a lot of writers.
Right? Rory's in my office. Here,
Oh.
take that.
What do you mean in your office?
For pictures. No, for pictures, for the band. There we go. And our last one for 10th grade is excellence in ELA, which I believe is a perfect score as well, is Emma Malin. You're welcome. Come get a picture.
Oh, yes, I know you. Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Excellent.
Oh,
okay.
Emma, come right back.
Do you want to keep these or do you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take them and they'll get them with the.
Okay, beautiful. I can bring them down.
Come on, guys. Come on, Jill.
I'm coming.
Oops.
Okay, come on. Shortest one in front of me. Oh, yeah. Come on, girls. Push it. There we go. Well, great job.
Thank you.
Now we can.
Middle school, all right, Miss Kurt, come
Sorry,
on
we
up.
were waiting for parents to get here. We had a message in the back. Instrument.
Yeah, we're used to being in the middle.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, first is grade 6, Kalia Davis, for English Language Arts.
We had almost everyone say yes.
Grade 6, ELA, Sophia Boulay.
Come on around. Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grade 6, ELA, Clover Maloney.
Wait,
You
wait,
can't
wait.
get away from a photo.
That's the middle school.
That's what we do.
Looks like we keep it
Take
going.
photos.
Grade 6, ELA, Evan Gatchell. Grade 7 for ELA, Cullen Lawler. Grade 7 math, Seth Asante. Grade 7 ELA, Gabriella Mazier. Grade 8 ELA, Alicia Davidson.
Right here, there you go, perfect.
Grade 8 math, Kellen Schaub.
Getting all good. Great C number? Oh, nice, okay, that's fine. All right, all of you from middle school, come on back up, I'll give you one more. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, middle school students back for one more quick photo. Celebrities. Come on.
Someone not taller than you.
Slim pickings on that.
Oh, yeah.
Smaller guys to the front. Smaller guys to the front.
You guys see? Got everybody?
Usually like choose the least.
Thank you, everybody.
See if they can share them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was exciting. Congratulations to all of the families who
All right.
make academics important and the children who buy into what they're learning and be role models for the rest of the district as we all move everybody all forward, which will be great. Did we want to do the technology? Did we want him to be able to go? Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go the order. Yeah.
Okay, so next on our agenda are some policy changes, two for action and one for just information only. So, Tammy, turning it over to you. You can
Okay.
start however you'd like.
So, I would like to talk about, is Mr. McNulty?
He's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't
right
see
there.
him.
That's okay.
Okay, so do you want to do, jacket?
Sure. Jackets first? Okay.
Jason, what did you say about?
The bracket jacket.
The bracket.
Oh, God.
Jacket bracket policy.
Robert, thank you for coming.
Hello. So, policy JJIBA is the Champion Jacket Awards. And we brought this, the subcommittee brought this forward to full committee because in the original language, it references that athletic teams receive a jacket if they win districts. At the beginning of this school year, we were told that there is no longer the districts.
Correct.
However, I found your original presentation, and in this, it says that the CMAS tournament, formerly known as districts, will be part of the regular season.
Yes.
So my question, I just wanted to confirm with you, Robert, is should that be what goes in here instead of districts? Because we weren't sure if it was the state tournament or the CMAS tournament that would be the same level as districts.
So the state tournament expanded to include the whole state, so it's not just Central Mass. So in the past, districts was just Central Mass, but they got rid of that this year because they're going to a statewide format, and the athletic directors in Central Mass felt that it was important, districts was important to give our kids like the same level of competition that we received from districts, so they created a Central Mass, they're calling it Central Mass Athletic Director Association Tournament, and it kind of just replaced districts, but in order for us to be able to do that, we had to have games set aside to have in the regular season, because we couldn't have a regular postseason on the top of the regular season, so we had to include it in the regular season. If that makes sense. I know it's a lot to kind of comprehend.
No, it makes sense, but it is a tournament. Like there is
a tournament. There's 18 teams in field hockey. There's 16 teams max in boys soccer, girls soccer, and girls volleyball. And it's out of schools out of Central Mass, just like it would be in districts.
Okay.
And the winner, obviously, probably has enough power ranking points to qualify for states. So a perfect example is our girls volleyball team. They were #1 seed in the Central Mass Athletic Director Association tournament, and they're in the finals tomorrow. If they win, they'll prove their power rankings. Right now, they're currently the 3 seed in the statewide tournament out of 32 teams, which is a great honor for them. And they're doing a great job. And I think, especially if they win tomorrow, it would be great to be able to recognize them for that accomplishment.
So if they win tomorrow, they are the winners of the Central Mass Athletics Directors Association tournament.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And
if they do, so like hypotheticals, let's say they go on and win states too,
right,
they should also be recognized for that. And you could give them the same jacket and just add a patch showing that they won
that
states
says state
and Central
champion.
Mass. Yeah.
So they could get the jacket for winning a district athletic directors association tournament, but then get a hat. But so here's my question that I asked them last time, because you just mentioned the fall soccer, field hockey, volleyball. Does football have that opportunity?
Football
No.
has a statewide tournament because they have less
Games.
They play a game every week, so it's harder to
Okay,
create one for them. Also, cross country
does not have that.
does not have that. They still have the districts. Same thing with indoor track and outdoor track. They still have the districts.
Or if we have a co-op, do our co-ops get that opportunity? Are they in the same district area?
So the only co-ops are ice hockey, and I'm not sure about hockey yet because it's winter time. But basketball is just doing the state tournament. They're not doing a Central Mass ADA tournament too because of the difficulties in creating a schedule.
So is it?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of.
Well,
do you
we thought
mean-
we had an answer, but I guess now we do not have an answer
Do you mean
anymore.
because Hopedale comes to us for football? Like, would we get them jackets?
Well, oh no,
No,
we
do
wouldn't
they have
get them.
the
Yeah, that's up to
They have the
their.
option from there.
But
Okay.
no, my concern is that if somebody wins a central district and they have the opportunity for a jacket, where if I'm on a swimming, we decide to have one swimmer and they join a co-op somewhere, and they don't have that, the only option they have is to win in states, or a hockey player.
Well, but he said they still have districts for the other people.
Yeah.
For what other people?
For football, cross
They have
country,
states.
they still have.
Oh, they have districts,
Well, yeah, for cross country, indoor track, outdoor track,
But not for
but not football.
not for football.
Not
Football's a
football.
statewide.
So
tournament.
football has to win the state.
Has football ever had districts?
So for football, it was just districts. It was never statewide. So
Okay.
it's kind of
Yeah.
the same.
So that was it. Okay.
So that's what they have now.
That's
Same-
what they
same
had
thing with
before. It's
basketball.
not what they have now.
Same thing with basketball. Basketball was only districts, so it
Right.
was only the Central Mass part that they would.
But basketball
competing for.
now
Now it's statewide.
is statewide, and football now is statewide.
Yes.
So the little,
Even the state
the
tournament.
very
all the-
smaller teams
yeah.
have to compete against the
Well,
2000.
But it's still
but there-
division.
it's division, yeah. So for basketball,
Oh, it's still
they're,
division.
Yeah,
they're in
it's
Division
not
4, and so they'll face schools similar size to them.
We have
right. There's no single football team that is the Massachusetts champion. It's like it's still by division,
division.
and school size and all of that.
just like it is in other states. And my problem with this is when I read item 1 and item 3, they contradict each other. Because in item 1, you're saying that it's up to the coach. You have to be a varsity starter or a substitute or a JV player is up to the coach. You go to item 3, in all sports, members who participate and win either district or CMADA tournament or states get jackets. So you're eliminating what you're saying in item number 1 with item number 3.
Because track and cross country is a qualification. I mean, to me, this is what I'm reading this as. So so track, cross country, indoor, outdoor track, an individual player has to qualify to participate.
I
So the
understand
team-
that, but the first 3 words in sentence
Or
in
all
all
sports.
sports. So that is every sport that we offer, not just indoor track or hockey or swimming or basketball or anything else.
Yeah, so it basically just says because not every sport has the same tournament format. Like cross country can't do the CMADA tournament, and just like a girls soccer player can't win districts. So this just kind of the districts, CMADA tournaments and state tournaments just kind of does it for all the sports. That makes sense. Like all the sports, like if any of them win any of those things, they get the jacket.
So I agree with Tim that 3 is not worded correctly. I
Yeah.
think what 3 is supposed to intend to say is if you have to qualify,
You have to participate, and then
because your team may not go, but you may qualify, like swimming or track or
Correct.
gymnastics. We don't have that, but whatever. If you qualify as an individual,
So my other question, just because I think we kind of keep going, all right, number 1. So ultimately, we can't eliminate district or something else because there are still teams that do have districts. So it's essentially going to be
Indoor.
the jacket's going to have to obviously be custom. Like we're not, printing up jackets that just say district and
yeah,
cross yours out on tape.
it's kind of crazy. They have like patches. for
Right.
that.
So it'll just we have to leave all of those in to cover each possible.
yeah.
placement for each team.
If we think that warrants a jacket, I mean that's we debated last meeting whether the importance was having a lot of people in jackets and having a lot of pride in the schools and seeing the jackets around town, and in which case, yes, we'd want to have all of the different tournaments they participate. Or are we saying it's really something because I'll go to the band, we only do that for the national, they win the district championship also pretty much every year, and they win, they pretty much don't lose. But we don't do it unless they win the national
Right.
USA Band Championship. So if we're going to start adding a lot of qualifying tournaments, if you will,
We need to
Is that what
spell
we
it
want?
out. We can't just say, here where we're talking about districts or whatever. We need to name the sports and what they are, and
Yeah.
whether they go to
Yeah, so we
districts
have
or
that.
whatever.
We have a list here that we could include that's broken down by season and by sport, and then which, if they're in divisions or what division they're in, and then which tournament they would qualify if it was states or the CMADA. So that might be helpful if we included that.
That would be
information.
very helpful, because if it's indoor track and they qualify for a district tournament, that's the end of their season in the district tournament, and they win that or they place, then we have to identify whether or not they deserve a jacket.
Yeah, right. So indoor track has DVC championships and districts. So those are their two big, right? The two big tournaments.
Those are the big tournaments.
And I'm not trying to cheat an athlete out of.
no, I
getting a
think
jacket.
we're all trying to do the same thing.
Right, yeah.
I think we have to decide what the ultimate, like, what is kind of the highest rank that somebody in that sport can get. Because division could change every year depending on how many,
Exactly.
the school size changes, whatever. We know that that's different, but
Mhm.
but the end result, like, what's the end result somebody can get to? And if they get to that and win,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree with you 100%, because it's, we're talking about football, and we're broken down into school sizes throughout the state. They have to win the state championship, whereas band, they have to win the national championship. Then we throw in basketball. They're in a district and do something completely different. So it only makes sense to identify the sport and what level of championship or what level of attainment they have to reach.
So we do have that listed very clearly here. It says a division, then it shows their top tournament is either the CMADA for fall, it's field hockey, boys and girls, soccer, volleyball, and then state tournament, football, and it goes on. So like it does list it, who's in what.
I mean, that makes our
To
policy
clarify it.
longer,
Yeah.
but it's
Wow.
clear that way.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
we
it's
can add a
Does that become like an addendum?
JJIBA-R,
Right.
right?
That part gets updated
Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
based on,
Yeah.
instead of the whole.
Like the bracket kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it would
Right.
make sense to just refer to the reference
Right.
of what tournaments qualify. This way you don't have to change the policy repeatedly.
Well, that's why you have, a
So now
dash
I do
R.
have another question on that, because we
Yep.
stated before, right, if we have co-op players, do they get a jacket? Here's where I think the answer should be yes,
Okay.
because those Hopedale players,
Mhm.
how many players do we have for football that co-op with us?
Not too many for
It's like
football.
a handful, right?
Yeah, a handful.
Okay,
3 or 4.
so if our team wins,
Mhm.
those players are already wearing our uniforms, and they're competing every day.
Mhm.
Their school doesn't have a jacket for football. So their
Well,
opportunity
but their
is-
school may have a jacket, championship jacket policy.
They could, but it won't be for the team they played for. In the same way that Tara and I have had a student, we each have a student
On a
that
hockey team.
co-op hockey. So if by Bellingham wins, I would assume my son would wear the Blackhawks jacket as much as he chose to be here at BMR. But he wears that Blackhawks jersey every day. So that's where I kind of think, and that's also, I feel, growing that program. So now there's, if there's 4 kids from Hopedale that play football and we won, and then next year we have 8.
I'll support that by saying when the boys lettered in hockey, our BMR kids all got BMR letters, not the Bellingham.
Well, but see, that's
and they
what I
asked
think.
for the Bellingham letter.
they did?
Because they wanted the team they played for
Oh.
represented.
Mhm.
They did it with both. But they really wanted the Bellingham one just because that was their team.
That's the uniform that they put on and go out
Yeah.
there and compete. in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the jacket that they would wear?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that they
Yeah.
would have chose that as well.
They wouldn't put on a BMR championship hockey jacket when they played on the Bellingham team.
Right.
Right.
I agree with that.
But, every step of the way, if we had enough kids for a hockey team this season, our kids would wear that jersey. So
Well, that I will
We
say.
just increased the sports fee for football co-op.
But is that something that we asked the other school to assist with the jacket?
Well, that would be, I mean,
Or, yeah, I guess that's another
I
question.
am personally uncomfortable using funds from the district because this is not coming out of the athletic fee. This is
Right.
coming out of the general revenue funds to buy a jacket for a student at in a different district. I personally, but
Something
I understand where you're.
Can we say to the co-op district that this is our policy, this is what we would like you to be part of, and give them the chance to purchase the jacket for their athlete?
Right.
But it would be the BMR jacket just purchased by Hotel.
Right. Well, at the same time, so our football players, do they pay a higher user fee to go to, so
They pay-
hockey, like we pay more,
Yeah, they pay whatever our user fee.
so
is.
they pay the same user fee. Now, do we
Whatever
get that
our-
money or does that go to
That goes
Hopedale?
to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
Cammie.
when hockey players go to Bellingham,
It all goes to
to
them.
Bellingham.
Robert, is this conversation part of the co-op language that is there something in the co-op agreements that talk about this? Because our original policy didn't talk about co-ops because we didn't probably have
Probably didn't
co-ops
have
when
it,
we
yeah.
first started this, so. Is there any language as to what happens if you win something? Some higher
No,
level?
But I can ask them. I can ask all the athletic directors what their feelings are or thoughts are on if one of our teams ever wins a championship that's a co-op team. How do we want to recognize them together?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's fairly complicated.
There's so many
All the
layers to
layers,
this.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, we obviously want to support kids in our,
To play for us.
it's just, but then to their points, it's like
Yeah.
our teams and our kids in our district, and then that gets a little very
Yeah,
gray.
I mean, could you just offer to the parents, if they get to the point where they've won the state hockey championship, we're going to be purchasing them. If your child would like one, here's the cost of that. And if it's a patch, we get an extra patch. But jacket is, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, it's worth asking the other schools.
I guess one of my concerns is, Robert just said that tomorrow, the volleyball, so this original policy was
Right.
district. There was a very clear, we had district, actually, we continue to have the word district in there now. If they win tomorrow, when we first started this conversation, the question was, what is the equivalent of district?
Right.
We didn't, it wasn't my intent when we brought this up to then raise it to the state tournament level. We said district was okay. So that's one piece. And then we currently have a team that could potentially, and by the way, Kylie is on that team. So, that team could potentially win tomorrow. And then this comes into immediate consideration tomorrow, which we won't have voted on it, right?
Correct.
So,
Can I get so it will not come in.
but so
but
it
it will
currently
eventually.
says
We'll
district.
have a problem.
We're trying.
You guys are great.
Yeah.
It currently says district. So I guess for the edification, does that include if volleyball wins tomorrow that they get a jacket?
Yeah, still a policy on the books.
But it's technically not district.
Can I ask a question on that though? Because what Robert just said, I actually kind of thought the opposite, which Jane, I think kind of what you were thinking, which is I think a thought, hold on the coat, wait for the they're going to go to states. Let's see how they do in the states. If they win the state championship, which it sounds like they have a very good possibility if they're seeded third in the state, which is amazing. Wait, right? Because I think I'd rather have them walk around in state championship jackets with a CMAMDABCXYZ patch
Right.
with a
right.
state champion coat So maybe
Absolutely.
that will give us a little more time too.
And if
to
they
kinda
didn't
tease
happen to
out.
win it, they would still get a jacket,
still
but it
would
would
get
say
it
like
for
the
the-
district.
Oh, yeah, okay,
So jacket
that's
should
what
be
I,
on
that's what I'm worried about.
The
Yes, that's not a bad idea, but I
Yeah.
mean, you have to put that in your language
But
if that's the
but
intent.
jacket, does the
They
jacket,
should be really
what
on
does the
the
jacket, who has a jacket? Anybody got a jacket?
Only band has the jacket
Band's
right now.
recent.
But does it say national champion on the not
I
engraved?
think so. I think it says like whatever the
Embroidered?
show was. Yeah, it's all.
You know,
embroidered
isn't
there.
that on the patch?
It's on,
I believe it's on the back.
it's on.
I think the back just
on the
says
back, it
Blackstone
says
Millville, right?
BMR band on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says
Okay, you're
band,
right.
but it doesn't, the national
It's a
championship is on a patch.
It's a
Yeah.
patch on the chest.
So
on the
it's
chest.
just the idea of getting a jacket that says Blackstone Millville, and there says band, but yours would say volleyball or whatever. Yours will say volleyball. And the patch is what says your state. It doesn't say state champion.
No,
Yeah.
across your back. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No.
No. The patch individually
patch.
will say.
Yeah,
what
I just
show.
was suggesting waiting on the coat until
Yeah.
the season's
Yeah.
like truly done.
Yeah,
and then
I
figure
agree.
out because I think we can swing the coats. It's a matter of
But are we in agreement that if they win tomorrow, they get a jacket at some point in their life?
If they win their district, I agree with you completely because that's their local area.
Yeah.
They win that championship, they're on to the state tournament. They deserve a jacket.
Yep.
Agreed. They deserve a letter to go on the jacket, not just an empty jacket. With the alphabet
Purple
patch.
jacket, a
There you go,
big
the alphabet
purple
patch.
Barney jacket.
All right, then let's do some more research on the co-op piece. And
And
we'll
who
come
orders
back.
them and picks the wording? Is that you, Robert?
The
He's like, I don't know.
yeah,
what
it's
you're doing
Robert
tomorrow.
and the coach.
Okay.
So could we maybe look through as a policy subcommittee? We could look through the bracket structure. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but whatever the tournament
list.
structure.
It rhymes with jacket, so
Jacket.
we like it.
Divide, I
then-
guess I would say determine, and that would take care of number 3 too. Determine what, like, the ultimate short of state. I mean, and maybe, state is, but again, I think we want to get pride.
Mm.
So determine what that ultimate tournament is that they can win. And again, if they go on to states, well, they'll get another patch.
Or the-
Makes sense.
Okay.
And so for the number 3s, that may be, qualifying for states in 100 IM or whatever. That's a pretty good accomplishment because most people die doing that event.
Yes.
Okay.
On that note,
Right.
And then we'll look at the co-op language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find what other.
Co-op tournament system.
I just think.
Tournament structure.
How many sports do we co-op? Field hockey, football?
Tennis.
Well, we've done
Lacrosse.
different ones in different
years,
times.
changes.
Tennis, we've
Lacrosse.
done lacrosse, we've
Girls
done
hockey.
field
Yeah,
hockey
girls
ones,
hockey.
Field
I
hockey
think-
right now we are.
Yeah,
field hockey, and we've done swimming. We had a couple swimmers. Girls ice hockey. I know. Are we still doing girls ice hockey?
I'm still
We don't
waiting
think-
to hear back.
we don't know
They
yet.
didn't do it last year, so I don't know.
Yeah. So it just
Which
kind of
one?
depends on the.
We're not the whole school though, so
right.
Yeah. Depends on the.
so that I guess is that the other question I have to ask too. If we win, say another school that one of our kids participates in like hockey, if they win, whatever the Central Mass ADA tournament or the states, do we purchase a jacket for them even if the other school doesn't purchase
Well,
a
see,
jacket
that's
for
the
them?
question.
That is weird, right?
Yeah.
Very weird because what would we buy? A Bellingham coat,
Right.
right?
Yeah, which would, yeah, that's why I think we have to kind of flesh that out a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean,
Yeah.
some co-op in the area must have had this happen,
Right.
Right.
I would think.
Kylie, let me ask you a question. Hypothetically, if one of your players were from another school, all right, and you guys won the right to wear a jacket, would they want to wear the BMR Chargers jacket, do you think? Or do you think they'd want to wear their home school?
I think they would want to wear the BMR Chargers because I know for tennis we had one Nipmunk player and
Yep.
we gave her like the BMR letters and she was happy to accept BMR because she played for BMR.
Yeah.
Probably I would think most people would want to wear a jacket the team they represented, the school they represented.
I think so.
Okay.
Good feedback.
We actually
That's
had
good
I forgot
That's why.
about this from last year. You had 2 boys that played on Nipmuc lacrosse team, and they won the Central Mass ADO
Yes,
tournament
that's
for the
right.
spring.
And what did
What
they
happened?
get? Anything?
We have to call
I
Peter
don't know.
Goulet. He'll know the answer.
Did they
Peter
keep-
Goulet's son
I know
was
they've
on
like
that
fully
team.
accepted them, like the school fully accepted them, and they fully accepted the school that they played for.
Yeah.
Just like she said, like they proud to wear their.
Tammy's making a note on that one.
I happen to have his number. I'll call him.
And the other one, I'm friends with his mom.
Oh, there you go. Let's figure that out. All right.
All right.
Sorry.
Well,
So our
I don't
second,
want everybody wearing purple jackets, just so you know.
so our second policy that we are reviewing today.
Thank you, Robert.
Yes, thank you so much. Our second policy that we're reviewing today is actually a 2-part policy. The first part we've already talked about here. It's the BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings policy. And we had already kind of run through the changes, requested changes as clarifying that it's not a question and answer period, that the school committee is not able to engage in dialogue during public comment. They're only able to listen, and the school committee meetings are meetings in the public and not with the public, as well as putting a time limit on the speakers, 3 minutes for when they present their material. After the meeting, actually I didn't attend the last meeting because I had a unified volleyball game, but after that meeting, after I watched that meeting, I looked back into the policy manual and I realized that, lo and behold, there was a BEDHE policy that also talked about the public comment, and it was the guidelines for the public comment. And in BEDH, there were some guidelines listed, and then in BEDHE, there were other guidelines, and some were contradictory. So when we met in the subcommittee, we talked about, the fact that they had to match. So one said, for example, that the general public comment section of the meeting would be limited to 20 minutes. The other side said that the chair would decide how long the public comment section would be. So I made an attempt to have the mirror language for the rules and procedure. So that's what this looks like. It's obviously color coded differently because in one policy it would be new language, in the other policy it would have been the language that was already in there. But as I looked at it further, my question is this. One, the BEDH policy, if we ended it after, in the third paragraph, after orderly manner, if we just ended the policy there and then only kept the actual rules in the one that says guidelines for public comment, would that be a better fix? So that we wouldn't have to modify both
Everything twice.
policies each time we amended it.
Yes.
So one would be sort of, here's the public comment, we have it, here's the general guideline, but the guidelines for public comment delineate the rules.
Would you even just add CBEDH-E at the end of that? Like at the end of manner?
You could.
I think so.
You could.
And that way you know to find the rules there
Sure.
for guidelines or something.
Yeah, you could even say guidelines for public comment are outlined in policy BE.
That's a great idea though.
That's fine. I noticed you on BEDH-E, you struck citizens and it says any speaker, but everything in BEDH says citizens. So it's the school committee desires citizens in order that all citizens.
So I think we just have to decide. So the BEDH one had speakers in it originally. So if you
Oh.
look at the bottom, it said speakers. So then I tried to convert them all to speakers, but it doesn't, to me, I was just trying to make it similar. So I might have missed some citizens. It doesn't matter. I don't think it impacts
No.
but I do think it should be uniform. So
So
Well, that
is
one
there
should
anything
be-
from the BEDH,
Discussing both.
the 1, 2, 3 through 7 that is not in 1 through 8 on, like, is there anything from this one that we need to add to this one?
No, they're both similar. They're numbered differently only because of what's been struck out in what position. There's that
Okay.
one line that, number 8 on BEDH. Number 8 was all remarks will be addressed through the chairperson of the meeting. And on the E one, that was included in the language, in another paragraph, so I just removed it and condensed.
And it does say citizens of the district in the first one.
Yeah, it does.
So explain who is allowed to speak.
Yeah, I think that's because you have to be a resident, right?
Yep.
So how would you like us to amend get this as a motion on the floor, amend here and approve 2 things, or would you like to?
I think that would
Okay.
be, I mean, they're so similar that I
Okay.
think.
So let's look at BEDH, and we will entertain a motion to approve that policy to end at the committee to conduct the district's business in an orderly manner, period.
So moved.
Okay?
At the end of this
Tammy, did you
paragraph.
want to say something?
We can do the discussion and.
Yeah, okay. So it's been moved and seconded to approve BEDH as amended up until business in an orderly manner. Any discussion? Go, Tammy.
So my further recommendation with that, in an orderly manner, as outlined in BEDH-E, title, guidelines for public comment.
So you're going to eliminate the
The rest of the
9s
page.
underneath it and then amend it with see the next document.
As outlined in BEDH-E,
H-E, guidelines for public comment.
Because they're repetitive. They're the same.
Okay.
Yeah, right now they're the same. The
Okay.
drafts are the same.
Okay. All right. So essentially, the only new part of that then is however, this is not a question and answer period. The school committee is not able to engage in dialogue during public comment. They are only able to listen. The school committee meetings are meetings in the public and not with the public.
And it removes what was already in existence there.
Right. Yep. Anyone have any other comment? Okay.
On item number 2 on -E.
Wait, we're only working on H, right? We're only working on the multicolored one. Right?
Okay, so what I was understanding is that we're going to amend the 1, 2, 3, the third paragraph to end in an orderly manner and as outlined in the next document, the -E.
Mhm.
And then we're going to strike all the other language.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Any other comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor of BEDH as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. BEDH-E.
So this document what's in yellow is what has been added. And basically, what's in yellow has been added from
Our discussion
the
previously.
BEDH, which was already okay. Yeah. And that's where, and then the only piece of that was changed to, the only original language from BEDH-E that was removed was the public comment shall be for no longer than 20 minutes. And I added the word it because I had to start the sentence.
And that's the whole public forum period. That's not
Correct,
each.
yeah, this one, yeah.
I'm not telling
the
someone
whole
now they
one.
went from 20 minutes to 3 minutes. They're
No.
just saying that
No,
whole
no. Yeah, and,
time.
and when we talked about that at subcommittee, and I had a side conversation with Jane as chair, what we said is if we had a hot topic item that, 42 people showed up in, it's not fair to just
20-minute
do
time's up.
20 minutes at 3, you would limit who is able to speak. So we don't have that issue very often, but it would be important, I think, to hear the people that are here for their 3 minutes. So that was a recommendation after a conversation with Jane.
Okay, I have a question between number 1 and number 2. And in number 1, at the end, you're talking about the chairperson shall determine the length of the public participation segment. That's what you were just talking about. In number 2, speakers will be allowed 3 minutes appropriate time to present their material. The presiding chairperson will determine an appropriate length of time based on nature of the topic. Are we being redundant with the second sentence, or are we extending the 3-minute time slot?
No, we're being redundant because we had crossed that out.
We had crossed it out, yep, so that's
And
crossed out. I
yeah.
just didn't strike it, sorry. That was part of our discussion from BEDH previously.
So we're crossing out second sentence of number 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed that.
Anything else?
Then I think the only other question I have is, do we prefer to use citizen or speaker?
Well, I think it does
Should we use that as
both, because you say in BEDHE, if we're going from the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph down, any citizen who wishes to make a presentation is available. Them making a presentation makes them a speaker.
Okay.
should we change that to constituent?
Then we have a third term.
I'm just asking because, I mean, we're using citizen, we're striking that, we're going to speaker. Technically, the public forum is for people that are residents inside the school district.
That's why I like leaving citizen.
Okay.
Yep, so I think citizen.
Does that limit like school choice families? If we say citizen?
There's always an exception.
What just popped into my head was not
we have to
that, but what if
define
it's
it?
a teacher who doesn't live in the district? Who wants to come?
So is it a speaker?
But I mean, the BED, the first one, BEHD says citizens of the district.
But that's who we're supposed to encourage to
Right.
come. That's the state law.
We just need to be consistent and keep it citizens of the district. Probably. They can get
I
a friend
agree
to
with
speak
you
for
there
them.
because it's, I mean, we're throwing the one offset at each other and
Although,
I think
at,
appropriate.
oops, sorry.
Yeah, I think
Tim.
it is too.
Jane, at town meeting, we make, there's a,
Exceptions,
I mean, maybe we just have to add a line that says the chair can allow a non-citizen to speak like we do at town meeting.
As deemed appropriate.
As deemed appropriate by the chair. But which one would we put that in?
Well, it'd be a
Right.
guideline, so it'd be
Doing
your
it-
dashy, the one we're working
Yeah,
on.
yeah, we already did the other one.
Okay. I lost my train of thought there.
So in that, with those questions, I'll make a motion to table this particular policy until we get the corrections straightened out.
Go ahead, Tammy.
If we do that, then we have no guidelines. because we've already struck them out of this document. And this is live.
And we don't have any currently in this one, though? We do.
This one is
Bare bones.
bare bones. The only ones that are in this document currently, BEDHE, is, well, actually, it includes the period of 20 minutes. Any citizen wishing to speak before the committee, individuals may address topics on the agenda, and they may direct questions through the speaker to the chair. So that only includes 4 bullet points.
Okay.
Do we have to second before we amend that motion?
There's well, let's so
How do we can get there? I mean,
yeah, we're gonna get there. So the first page, everybody flip to the first page. We're gonna say any citizen who wishes to make a presentation. So we're good up to here are the general rules.
Yeah.
Right? And then the first one is the agenda, how we set the agenda, and the chairperson determining the length of the public participation. We good with one?
and removing the 20 minutes.
Yeah. And generally following the open of the meeting, good. Then speakers will be allowed 3 minutes. So let's change speakers to citizens. 3 minutes, appropriate time to present their material. Persons not residing in member towns may be allowed speaking time at the discretion of the committee?
Chair.
The chair? Oh geez, in a town meeting, the whole town gets the vote. Okay, at the discretion of the chair. So that takes care of somebody who's not.
Chairperson.
Okay.
So that will become
That will
3.
be part of well,
That's
no,
part
it's
of
all part
two.
of number
Yeah,
2.
part of
2.
two.
Okay,
Yeah.
part of 2. Okay.
And then
Just
number
for
3,
checking
any
purposes.
speaker wishing to speak before the committee shall identify themselves, blah, 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 blah. So technically, we could have put that in there. But anyway.
In number 3, we want to change speaker to citizen.
I would say citizens
Yep.
simply for the redundant word.
Wishing to speak, all citizens shall speak to the full.
And as well in the second,
Blah,
no
blah, blah,
citizen.
blah, blah. Yep.
Everywhere it says speaker, change it to citizen,
Yeah.
Star.
even though they're a speaker.
I know,
Yeah. At
right?
this point, they're speakers.
Right.
And so I would leave number 4 as speakers, because if we allow a non-citizen to speak,
They're no longer
they're now
citizens.
speakers.
Right. Okay, so
But we
you wanna
want
put it back
we
to
want the
s-
speaker.
Both of us are glazed
Number
over.
3. Number 3 should be speakers
Should say
too.
speaker
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. So everything after 2,
any
should be
person
speakers.
wishing to
oh yeah, whatever. Any person.
That we
Any
were not
person
saying.
wishing to
5
speak
as
before the
individuals.
committee shall identify themselves by name and address. No speaker may speak more than once without permission of the chair. All speakers shall speak to to the full committee through the chair and shall not address individual members or administrators.
Yes, love that,
Okay.
you know.
And then speakers may offer objective criticism, blah, 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 blah. Individuals.
Now we call them
Now we're
individuals.
individuals. They address topics on the agenda. Okay. Topics of significant length or complexity may, as determination of the chair. Boy, this chairperson's going to be busy. Improper conduct and remarks. Yes. And by the way, they are developing a new state law around inappropriate remarks and how you should do that.
Policy.
But it has to go through 5,000 committees. Okay.
All right.
All right. So everybody got the amended. All right. So is there a
No.
second to all the amendments?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the amendments? So we have an amendment in number 2, 3, and 4. Oh, 4 we don't, because we're leaving it as speakers. So 2 and 3.
Wait, 3, I thought we're leaving speaker 2.
I thought we were saying any person.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Because any speaker wishing to speak sounds just really weird to me. Sorry. Just
Okay.
okay. All right. All those in favor of the amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, now the policy, BEDHE as amended. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Okay, Tara, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tim. Is there any discussion on the whole package? Hearing none, all those in favor of BEDH-E as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so moved. We are going to skip through our agenda and move to the report of the superintendent and technology. Are you going to do COVID first?
We can do the very quick COVID update first. Karen, if you want to come join us just very briefly and just run down the numbers quickly. As Karen's coming down, just a reminder that the commissioner extended the mask mandate through January 15th. So I did send that out to our community and all the language around that today. Karen, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Has not been a good couple of weeks in the district as far as positive cases go. So we currently are up to 52 cases. Almost 70% of those cases have come from the complex and the middle school. We've had 33 cases so far in October, which ties us with January for our highest total, and we still have 3 days left to beat that. So, which I'm expecting is going to happen the way these cases have been coming in. So, of our cases, we've had 541 in-school close contacts, 130 have done test and stay, 346 have been monitoring only, 26 have been vaccinated and have not had to test or quarantine, just monitor. 33 have opted for quarantine, and 6 have been positive in the past 90 days from their exposure. We did get numbers for where the high school is at and where the middle school is at. So in the high school, we have 197 fully vaccinated students, which works out to be 47.3%. That includes the people that responded to the survey that had the vaccine out of state. In the middle school, overall, there is 145 fully vaccinated, which works out to 36.6%. If you take out the 6th grade, which most of them are not eligible at this point to be vaccinated, for the 7th and 8th graders, it brings it up to 59% of those. We are going to, so flu clinics will be November 3rd for the high school, November 5th for the middle school, and there'll be a COVID clinic at the middle school on November 9th from 1 to 5 p.m. It'll be open to students, families, anyone in the towns that want a vaccine. Hi, Tammy.
Do the when you just gave us the vaccination rates for middle school and high school, does that include staff?
That's students only.
Students only. Do we have a number for staff?
We
or
have all but 10 are fully vaccinated.
all but 10 district-wide?
Yep.
That's fantastic.
So what does that do to the percent of the building? Because isn't it 80% of the building?
I believe so, yeah.
So if we can get that number? It's probably still not 80 yet, but it'd be nice to know what the number
Yes,
is.
if you can get me the
Yep.
the numbers by building, I can update that.
10 people, not 10%.
10 people.
So it actually could be.
I agree.
No, there's no way it could be.
No.
No way. Not if you have
Not
only
unless teachers-
47% and 36.
Yeah, you
Because
figure
here you're never going to get the sixth graders. They're not, well, till, is it still November when they're hoping that?
On
Yeah.
5 to
November,
12?
the FDA has approved Pfizer for the 5 to 8 year olds. CDC is meeting on November 2nd and 3rd for their decision. So we're hoping that by the 9th, they'll have the vaccine. The federal government was planning on shipping out the vaccine in advance. So my fingers are crossed that they will at least have some pediatric doses for that date. If not, we'll set up another clinic.
the numbers of staff are so small in every building. You know, there's about 45 staff members here out of 400, and so it's such a small percentage that it wouldn't move the needle much. But it could move it from 55% to 62 or 63%. Every bit helps, for sure.
Any other questions for Karen? Okay. Just so the public knows, we have changed the way we report this out. If you want information on our cases, it's available on the dashboard on the website. We're no longer sending community daily notices because that's really all people were doing a lot of the time. So we update as our information becomes available and people have access to that.
And all of the students who have tested positive have been unvaccinated.
Oh.
It is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, right? That's what the language is.
Yes.
And that information is on our data dashboard right on our webpage.
But obviously, positive people and,
still get
and
notified.
close
that-
contacts are getting
yeah.
direct.
That hasn't
notice.
changed.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
based on.
I thought so. I just wanted
Policy,
to
yeah.
process that.
Just the community letter that we sent.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect.
We have holidays coming up. People will gather, and I think we need to, I don't know what we need to do, but something has to change, or we're going to wear these things, which, as we heard from our speakers who came to us very early in the year, it impacts student learning. So I don't know what the answers are, but we have to do something different.
And we have seen recently very probable in-school transmission in the complex.
What do you mean by that?
What's that?
What do you mean by that?
Where there's been multiple students in a class who were close contacts of one another have ended up testing positive.
So hopefully with that vaccine on the horizon for the younger students, we'll
And we get, people
we'll go forward with
have
that.
to make choices to get it, but we don't change much until they do.
Do we have numbers for the community as far as the community rates of vaccination? Are
Yeah.
we still at 47 and 51%?
Blackstone is at 55% as of today, and Millville is at 45%.
As much as I think we hope that we will reach the herd immunity and the 80% status in schools, I don't see it. Not when we have community vaccination rates at 55% and lower.
And the senior population those numbers are pretty good. So it's the younger adults and children that are lower numbers.
Well, hopefully with the vaccine coming out, being approved by the CDC and recommendations for 5 and older, we'll get some vaccinations across the complex.
Yep.
And Millville Elementary School. This is killing us.
Yep.
I see the numbers. Working in television, I hear the numbers, I see the numbers, and it is disheartening and alarming. And I thank you for your diligence in keeping track of all of it.
My pleasure.
Well, and if I could too, just add to that in your time, because this is all day Saturday, Saturday night, all day Sunday, Sunday nights, and because we're on the phone together, so
Yep.
there is an impact on
Yep.
on the staff in terms of time and dedication, and it's incredibly frustrating that we spend so much time away from our families on our private time, contact tracing, sending out communications, following up with family, because that's all preventable. So those that are listening, I want them to understand that it really is impacting the professionals' personal lives, because this is all that we are doing. And that includes nights and weekends. So I'd rather be looking at student data and helping principals with their plans, and there's a million other things. Taking my kids for a walk, bike ride. Can't do those things because we're on the phone with close contacts. So if you're listening, please pay close attention to that.
Get vaccinated.
There is a personal impact here.
And I'd like to give a shout out to the other nurses in the district, because the health offices are busier than ever, and then there's additional work with COVID that's on top of it. We're contacting every family that has absent students, finding out why they're absent, helping with the testing. They help me with contact tracing.
Or a principal who needs to leave their child's soccer game to drive on a Saturday morning to the main office to get the student seating plans
Yep.
in the cafeteria so we
Yep.
can do the I think people really need to understand the impact here, and it's becoming tiresome because it's unnecessary.
Yep. And Tim, I agree with you. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Unfortunately.
Especially, as Mrs. Reggio pointed out, with the holidays coming,
Yep.
the travel, have you noticed how cold it's gotten in the last 48 hours?
Yep.
It's wet, it's cold, this virus is going to propagate. And anyone that doesn't think so is fooling themselves. We're in for a very hard winter. We're in for a very hard winter in the school system. Please get your children vaccinated.
Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Karen.
This evening, we have a focus on discussing our current plans, particularly starting with our technology plan. And Dan Saltzman, our lead tech consultant, is here to give a excellent update on
Mind
some
if I kind of turn this so I can
Turn
see
it away. It's
However
the
you-
coolest thing I've seen. I feel
the
like
committee.
it's one of those ones where it's the commercial and somebody's gonna pop up there, as a person and ask me to the prom or something.
A promposal.
You know what I'm talking about? Where
The tech department is a very small department that does a major amount of work for our system. And it's work that's often unseen, unheard. And if you ask Dan, that's the way he likes it. Our technology should work, so you just don't even know it's there, essentially. It just should function.
Seamless.
So, Dan, I think you and our tech department have done an incredible job of just that.
Thank
So
you.
we're excited to
Appreciate
hear the update tonight. Thanks for being here.
Yep, and just introduce myself, Dan Saltzman. I am the lead technology consultant for the district. I've been here now in my 3rd year. And a year ago, almost to the day, I think, we presented, I guess it was almost a year ago, we presented the 3-year tech plan. And now a year into it, wanted to give you an update. So I'm just going to go through almost everything that we talked about a year ago, all the important stuff here. So we've got 6 areas that we focus on. And I'm just going to give you a quick overview and we'll go through them. So we have the Windows-based systems. We've made significant progress in this area, and some of the essential systems have been completed. Our Google-based systems, again, significant progress. Our network infrastructure, there's really no action necessary at this time, which is good news.
That's very good. Don't have to cool anything down or heat anything up.
Our Clever-based system, that's completed. Classroom technology, significant progress there. And our onboarding of new district employees and families, again, significant progress. So we've really made a lot of progress, and I'm excited to kind of walk you through a little bit more specifics. Before we get into the specifics, there is one thing that I wanted to go over, the Emergency Connectivity Fund. This has really helped us out in being able to procure a fair amount of equipment this year. And this fund is related to E-rate. This is a government grant that has came up in the late spring, pretty surprising. We jumped on it and we were able to get a lot of equipment here. So we got almost $250,000 funded in Chromebooks. That's paid for 816 Chromebooks that we'll be ordering. We are waiting on approval for another 150, which would be almost another 50,000. Staff Chromebooks, we received approval for 198 units, of which ECF is going to cover $400 of each of those units. That's a total of about $80,000. Then we also got 20 internet hotspots, about $5,000. So this was really important in giving us a boost to buy a lot of equipment. So let's go through the Microsoft desktop systems. This is our first goal. We wanted to reduce the number of these systems in favor of the Google ecosystem that we have. And then we were going to upgrade what we have remaining. So we've made significant progress in reducing these systems, and it's mostly because we were able to get almost 200 of these staff Chromebooks. We hope to do an additional order sometime before 2023, and that will complete kind of our phase out of Windows systems for teachers. A lot of our staff, people like Matt, Jason, will continue to use desktop systems that are not Google Chrome, but the teachers and the vast majority of our staff will be using Chromebooks. Then we wanted to upgrade whatever Windows systems we have remaining, and we've made significant progress there. About 35% of all the remaining machines that we have been upgraded with Windows 10, which is important because they were previously running Windows 7, which is no longer supported. And then we've upgraded them with these really fast hard drives. Tim?
Dan, a question for you.
Sure.
You're saying that we just recently updated to 10.
Yep.
With that life expectancy going in 18 months, where are we for Windows 11? Because what I'm understanding is the current technology running Windows 7, Windows 10 is not going to work for Windows 11.
We'll have to see. So the big thing is the trusted platform module that has to exist in the computer in order to go to Windows 11. And I'm not sure if our current computers can support that. This has all just come out in the last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
I have personally a really good computer that does not have a TPM, and it will not do Windows 11. So this is unfolding as we speak. What I would like to say is that any computer that doesn't support Windows 11, we won't be using it. That said, I would be surprised if 18 months from now, Microsoft truly ends support for Windows 10 in terms of security updates. That's what we really care about, is the security updates.
Yeah. So with that, we're saying that we're moving over to Windows, upgraded to Windows 10.
Yep.
We got 35% machines remaining. How many of those?
Of the 35% remaining, all the machines remaining, we have upgraded 35%.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
So how many of those are going to be replaced with the Chromebooks for teachers?
The vast majority. I mean, I don't have an exact number for you, but I would say 90% of them in the end. The only people that will be using Windows computers, I hope, a few years from now, are people that truly need Microsoft Excel and things like that. For the most part, everybody in the district, the vast majority, do not need that, and they use Google Chrome.
So mostly maths people will still.
Okay, that's where I'm going with that, because what I'm looking at and what I'm hearing from you is there's going to be a small amount of machines running a Windows operating system, and we'll be able to survive until we can technologically update.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly right.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. So again, remaining, any Windows computers that we have will either be upgraded or retired by 2023. So now our server systems, and this is probably the best news here. As I told you a year ago, we used to manage 34 legacy servers. They were based on 14 non-redundant hardware systems, and non-redundant meaning that if an important component fails, the server goes down, and that's not good. Some of these servers were 17 years old. So we had this goal to reduce, replace, and upgrade. We are really near completion in all of this, which is fantastic. All of the hardware has been replaced. We have brand new servers in place. All of the hardware is redundant power supplies, redundant hard drives, and the systems themselves are redundant to each other. All of our Active Directory servers, which are responsible for the most vital network services, all of them have been replaced. The ones that we replaced them with are now running the latest version of Windows. All are redundant across both the software and the hardware, so any type of a failure can be tolerated and there is no outage. Some of our legacy virtual servers do remain. There's just for example, there's a library software that we use that's very old, that difficult to replace, difficult to upgrade. But that has been virtualized and put onto the new equipment that we have. So it runs very fast. If something goes wrong with it and we need to troubleshoot it, it's lightning fast to do things to it. And again, it's on this new hardware, so it's redundant. If a hard drive fails, if a power supply fails, the server doesn't go down. All of those servers will be retired or replaced by 2023. Questions about that? Now the networking infrastructure, as I said, all of our systems have been found to be appropriate and functional. So that's good news there. I'm not a big fan of fixing things that aren't broken, and I don't want to upgrade something that doesn't need to be upgraded. So there's really no action necessary there. We can focus on other things that we've talked about, and I will speak to. That said, I would expect around January 2023, which is when we would be beginning an E-rate cycle. That's the government grant that pays for a lot of our equipment. I would expect to start looking into our Wi-Fi and our Ethernet, our networking infrastructure. Around that time, the winter of 2023, we would apply for a grant. I would expect to get it, and we would expect that that work would be completed by the end of the year. Again, Clever Single Sign-On, as I mentioned before, it's been successfully implemented. We continue to improve it and maintain it, but that is completed, and that's been really helpful for the district. The classroom technology, I spoke about a few things a year ago. Really, the biggest one were the projectors. And district-wide, we had about 160 projectors of varying ages, but really the vast majority very old. And so we wanted to replace those. The goal was to develop a plan to replace all the projectors. We've made significant progress there. 115 ViewSonic touchscreens. So these TVs, I believe, are 55-inch. The ones that we're getting are significantly bigger, 65-inch. And they all have a touchscreen. They're going to be on a cart, kind of like what you see here in front of me. Yeah. They'll be able to move around the classroom. The teacher can drag things around, and it's a whole different thing than a projector. Completely replaces the projectors that are in the rooms now. And they're literally on a truck coming from California on their way here, and we expect to take delivery sometime next week. And that's a big project to push those out. So the rollout will be through the winter of 2022. And the middle school, where we are here, continues with their projectors until 2023, when we would expect to buy more of these touch panel TVs. The middle school has both the newest projectors. They also use a certain type of technology with them that makes upgrading to the touch panels a little bit more difficult. But that said, again, by 2023, we expect we would buy another set of these touchscreen TVs, and then the whole district would be running on those. Then the last thing is the onboarding. So we wanted to implement a formal process to streamline the hiring of new staff, the onboarding of families, and we wanted to simplify the collection and the dissemination of the data that's involved in those processes. And again, we've made significant progress here. We've developed an in-house system using Google Workplace Forms, and we also added to that DocuSign web-based PDF forms. So between these two systems, we've developed a single system to manage this onboarding. We expect to continue to refine that this winter. And we are using it right now, just to be clear, but we will be refining it throughout the winter. And then when we hit the summer 2022 hiring, which is when there'll be a lot of activity, we'll be ready to go. And things will be much, much better. And just to conclude, really significant progress in every area. Very proud of that. It was mentioned the small team that we have, Sam and Rich and Julie, everybody's just worked really hard to get us where we are, and I appreciate all the work that everyone's done. We've already completed some critical areas, and every area that has been identified will be complete by end of year 2023. And that's it. Any questions?
Tammy.
A few questions. One, the laptops that were mentioned, I think he said, I'm sorry, Chromebooks, I think he said 816. Where are we on the Chromebook leasing? Are we done the leasing years? And so this is new stuff, like not, our leases are all done. I've lost track of the year 1, 2, 3.
You know, we've tried to pay off as many of the leases as we can. I believe we should be completed with all of them now. And these Chromebooks will be for upcoming years as well. So,
but there's no lease. It's just grant money bought. Okay, good. The projectors that we're rolling out, what's the training going to look like for that? I know a lot of times we get great technology as a teacher, we get great technology and we get no training. And so then it's like, if you have the patience to work through it, you figure it out. And if you don't, it sits as a very expensive dust collector.
So that's something that's it's a great point, and I couldn't agree more. It's why I was saying that it's a really long process to push these out. This was something that came up a little bit quicker than we would normally expect. You know, if you had asked me a year ago if we were going to be able to do this, I would have said, you know, the goal was to develop a plan. It wasn't to actually get 115 of these units this year. So it's a fantastic thing that we're getting them. And we have to, like you say, we have to have a solid plan to roll them out. It's going to be difficult even to just put them together physically. And so we are working on those plans, and we're not going to just dump them in a classroom and say, here it is, because like you said, it'll just end up really being useless to people. So we'll make sure that everybody is trained and everybody knows how to use them. And they are much more sophisticated than the projectors. So there's a lot of features and a lot of integration with Google and things like that. So
we do have a couple of folks with them now, which is good. So they are kind of playing around with them.
Yep.
And
That's
so
true.
the hope is we can do like a train the trainer thing and
So
be able
use
to
that.
have,
I mean, yeah.
the teachers learn so well from each other, you know. So we've got a couple of folks that are already tinkering around with these things in their classroom.
And the staff Chromebooks are the like upper version that can do more
They're-
things than a regular Chromebook can. Like they can save data or no.
So the staff Chromebooks are better in almost every respect, but they're still Chromebooks. So the data stays in the cloud, which is a good thing. I mean, the reason that we want to move to this is that we don't have to worry about backing up a Chromebook, for example. If somebody breaks, if a computer breaks, a teacher, if one of their Windows systems breaks, it's a fairly elaborate process to replace it. With a Chromebook, it's a matter of minutes to replace it. But troubleshooting a Chromebook is easier. There's so many advantages to it. But in the end, it's still a Chromebook. So what's better about it is the screen is much better. They flip over. It can be like a tablet.
Okay.
The processors are much faster in the teacher computers than in a student Chromebook. Keyboards are better. Yeah, everything about it is better.
Okay. Thank you.
And then I had one final question on the onboarding. Would that, I think at one of our last meetings, we sort of talked about that beginning of the year paperwork. Will that onboarding allow parents to, instead of getting 26 copies of documents for their 3 kids, would that allow them to electronically sign those kinds of documents?
It would. That's what the DocuSign component will allow us to do.
Okay.
And it is difficult to have, you know, everybody has different technology at home, and some people are on their phones, some are on computers. So it can get complicated with that, but absolutely the ability to do it is there. So we're still going to have the ability for people to come in and sign paper if that's what they want to do. But doing it online is going to be a part of the system. It is a part of the system.
Because they should be able to use their students' Chromebook to be able to do it. They should.
Yeah, they should be able to use the student's Chromebook to do the onboarding through that system. I did a DocuSign this week on my phone.
Or can't.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
All right, any other questions for Dan?
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
I
Dan.
really appreciate it. This is
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dan.
Dan.
Thank you.
quite a nice thing that we've been able to do for the community, the district, the students, the staff. I never thought we'd get there this fast.
Thank you very
Great
much.
work,
Thank
Dan.
you.
Thank you, Dan.
Next, our school improvement
Kylie,
plans.
good luck Friday.
Good luck, Kylie.
We'll be there to cheer you on.
MES, Millville, come on up, Christina and Angela.
All right, Carrie, is Carrie something?
I think she had to go.
Okay.
Looks like maybe.
Are we
she-
skipping, are we doing Washington DC
We're doing it at the
later?
end, yeah,
We're
so we
doing-
can get
okay.
our,
Yeah.
All right, just,
Yeah,
okay.
if that's okay with
yep, yep. We're moving different around.
What are we doing right now?
So we're doing school improvement plans. We're starting with the elementary school.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
So, so this is
Haven't met
Angela.
Angela yet? I was gonna.
Well, I'm like, I don't think Angela's been in front of everybody yet. So, Angela's our instructional planning, teaching, and learning coach at Millville Elementary School this year. So our school improvement plan on our first slide, we revised our instructional focus to make it more early childhood friendly. So instead of the Mustangs acronym that it took us all forever to remember what each one was, we made it nice and simple. We think, we show, we grow. So it's still the same focus, still problem solving, and the more we work, the more we think about things, the more we show what we can do, we're going to grow more. So we did modify that a little bit. So our school improvement plan was shared with, was created in conjunction with the ILT. We had some staff that helped working on other focus areas. It was also shared with the staff, shared with our school council. So it was shared with all of those members. So the data that we use to support our focus is 51% of our students were at or above grade level expectations in kindergarten for our beginning of year data and our Start Early Literacy. And then 48% of students were at or above grade level expectations in grade 1. Listening comprehension actually was an area of strength in both grades. So we don't do the reading comprehension at the early childhood level in K1 because they all can't read. So we do the listening comprehension. So that was an area of strength. And then letter ID and sound has been an area of focus in our K and 1 classrooms as something that we've identified through the Start Early Literacy, our end of year assessments last year, and some of our beginning of year assessments this year is something that we need to work on and really identify and provide intervention and acceleration for our students. So again, we have our 4 focus areas or our 4 buckets. So our what? So as part of our core instruction, with this year, we're going to continue to work on our implementation of with fidelity of our English language arts curriculum. So preschool has World of Wonders, which is the beginning part of Wonders. So our kindergarten and 1 have Wonders, and our preschool has World of Wonders. And they did start a pilot of that last year with full implementation this year. And then for math, we're just continuing to work with our math program that we have. I know that this is a focus for this year to identify potential change in our program. And we're just going to ensure that our programming and our instruction is meeting the needs of our learners. Again, and that's every single learner and students in pre-K to 1.
That brings us to the how. And that's to implement instructional supports throughout the school year to assist staff in strengthening their craft, and continue working with focus schools to strengthen instructional leadership team to support all teachers to deliver high quality teaching and learning in every classroom with no exceptions. And part of that was to change that instructional focus so that it was easier for teachers to focus on, students to focus on. And we do announce that every day. That's how we start our day at school. Using evidence-based instructional strategies, our mnemonics, turn and talk, and then also providing feedback to teachers through coaching and then through Mrs. Schaefer.
So the whole child piece. So we're continuing to use Choose Love this year. We've also added in pieces of Second Step which is an anti-bullying. I always try to remember it's an anti-bullying program. So it helps the students kind of work through that. So they're integrating that into the Choose Love, as well as implementing mindfulness. So I know Mrs. Morrow, our school adjustment counselor, works on different types of breathing and giving students tools and strategies to, when they have difficult times or they just need a moment, how to solve that, not just kind of just get angry or whatever. She teaches them different strategies to get through that. In addition, this year, we, as an elementary from pre-K through 5, our school adjustment counselors started the work for the PBIS, so the Positive Behavioral Intervention and Support System. And students can earn little horseshoes. So when they earn a certain amount, that they can cash them in as their incentive when they're following the expectations. So they were all taught their expectations during Choose Love. And we now have posters along everywhere, the hallways, the classrooms, the school buses, the cafeteria, the bathroom, pretty much anywhere.
Can earn a horseshoe on the bus.
So they can when they're doing expected behavior, and so we teach them the expected behavior, that they can earn horseshoes, and everybody has horseshoes, every teacher, every specialist, anyone. They all have little baggies if they don't have a homeroom per se, or they may be a specialist that walks around. They have a baggie with little horseshoes, a pretty little bag, and they can carry those around and they can give them to the kids when they see them. So last week we had our first at Millville store experience. So we had a student earn the store, and I know we have a few tomorrow, and I know we have some that have earned the chance to say the pledge. So one of them cashed in to do say the pledge in the announcement. Some cashed in for stuffed animals. So they have different ways they can cash in. So, and then continuing to share strategies and literature with staff, students, and families to kind of help through different areas of need that we've identified.
And then we have community, and we want to make sure that every student has equitable access to the curriculum. That's really a main focus for us, and providing communication and feedback to families so that they know what their students are learning and how they're progressing with that learning. And then also at the November meeting, we want to work on avenues so that we can share the instructional focus with the families in the community so that everyone's aware of the change in our instructional focus.
So it's kind of that piece that you can see it in maybe one place all the time. We all have it on our taglines. So our email taglines all have our instructional focus. My newsletters share it, my weekly updates share it, but people might not see it there. So we're going to ask the parents on school council to share more. Like, where do you think that people could see it better? So. And that's it. Any questions?
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you. The JFK AFM Complex team, Dr. Rumka, if you want to, and you'll see a similar format we're just going to use to walk through detailed plans you have in your packet.
What's that?
Dr. Rumka,
Hello.
welcome. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Thank you for the time. I think we want to start off with our instructional.
How about introduction?
Oh, hi. Sorry. Jenny Rumka, principal.
Esther Cody, math teacher, interventionist.
Danielle Keene, 5th grade teacher.
Carrie Toomey, ELL specialist.
Thank you.
So we want to start off with our instructional focus statement because this is very important to us. Anything we do in the school really refer back to all students will use evidence-based strategies to increase comprehension in all content areas. So math, not just math or ELA, is also in music, in arts, in PE. So we really, this is very important to us. Before we start, we've been working on this plan for months. Not only the ILT was very heavily involved with it, we also held several focus groups with our school councils and special ed staff, because they always felt that they didn't have a voice. Our general curriculum is general curriculum, and then they kind of in their own little island. But it's important to include, their feedback on this, because we want to make sure that every child has the equal opportunity to the curriculum. So we included those folks and also our counselors and our support staff. So we had many meetings and lots of notes before we finalized our plan. When we look at our data, we ask ourselves 3 questions. Who is succeeding academically? Who is not? And how do we improve student achievement for all students? And our key findings are MCAS. We notice our grade 3 and 4 has pretty significant increase in proficiency in ELA. We also notice that across our grade level, we have a significant decrease in math proficiency. And our BOY star data, our grade 2 to 5, they are under 50% meeting or exceeding expectations, and our math is under 40%. This year, we also used the Wonders Universal Screener. That is a current grade level standard. So if a grade 2 student taking the screener, they're taking the grade 2 reading comprehension, grade 2 standards. So 63% is the average score, and then for grade 2 and grade 3 is also 63%, and grade 4 is 46 and 49% in grade 5. And
so,
then we,
so
I'm
may
sorry.
I?
Sure.
So that means in grade, am I understanding this correct? That in grade 4, so it's not 46% of the students.
It's 40, the average. 46.
They average to 46 out of what?
Out of
out of
100.
100%?
Yep.
Dang, Tammy.
Is that, so grade level standards for the full year, or is there any adjustment for it because it's the beginning of the, you wouldn't expect them to be at 100% in that grade level standard in
now.
September.
Right.
So that's not, so by the end, we would be concerned if we were 46. Now we're just slightly concerned. All right, so that's the full year.
But we know the problem. So,
Right, yeah.
Right.
No,
That's why we wanted
I
to-
just wanted, I think, for edification for people watching, that we don't expect people to be all kids to be at 100% in September of that school grade.
You wouldn't need the grade.
Right. It's like,
Right.
argument.
Well, no, yeah, but then I'm like, but they're 63% up, and so
Yeah.
grade 1 and 2 did some wonderful things, because those people are not so bad already.
But the concept get more complex
Of
as
course.
the kids get older too. And then we also gave, actually Millville did the same thing. Our elementary school students took the Wonders vocabulary. This is very interesting, because when I first looked at it, I'm like, they didn't do too well in grade 2 and 3. But that 75 words is the same for grade 2, same for grade 3, 4, and 5.
The same words?
Yep, same words. So they're looking at these common word vocabulary, and they want to
Are
see.
they like they're not tier 2 words, though? They're not.
No, they're common
just-
vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yep, from Wonders. So when we talk to the Wonder Rap, it's actually 23 out of 75 for grade 2 and 3 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And we do expect to see an increase.
What was the end grade, Jenny? You said
Wonders?
it was the same for what
2, 3,
grades?
4, and 5.
2, 3, 4, and 5.
No,
yeah.
no, I think the question was how far does it go up? Like that 75 words, like how long do they use that for? I believe that actually goes past our program, which is only to 5th. I believe it goes to 7th grade. So like a 7th grader would be expected to know all 75
all
words.
75.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I talk enough, I'm gonna pass the baton to these ladies.
Thank goodness. And I've got the what, which is our curriculum. And last year we rolled out our ELA curriculum, our Wonders, and we weren't really able to dive in real deep with the curriculum for COVID reasons. But this year we're really focusing on using the program with fidelity, integrity. We've had professional development. We're continuing with professional development to dig deeper into all of the components of the Wonders program. And our instructional focus, I think, aligns perfectly with the Wonders curriculum. Sorry, getting tongue twisted here. our evidence-based strategies, our turn and talk, vocabulary strategies. We're using the vocabulary boxes to dig deep into the understanding of the vocabulary. Our math, we're still using our Envisions program, but we are in the process of evaluating a new curriculum to identify, what would be best suited for our students. We have a significant, I think, problem in math, I think, across the state, but I think we're doing better on average in the state. But what we're doing with the math, and I'm the math person, we've really dug deep into the assessments, trying to figure out where those learning gaps are, trying to give that just-in-time support for the kids. We've looked at topic assessments, trying to identify standards that we can hone in on and give them that support so that they can continue and move forward with the curriculum. And I think we've done a really good job with that. We've used our PLCs to analyze this data. I think that we're all on the same. We are at looking at what we need to do for our kids and trying to provide that support so that we can build their skills moving forward.
And one thing I think I took them out for dinner because
I
get
think
them
we're
over here to
selling
buy
one.
dinner. But we talk about math. We really talk about math. Like we want kids to not just do well, but love math. I think we're not doing a very good job of, I would say nationwide.
I agree.
Students just don't like math. You might have a small portion of students, but we want to develop that interest and love for math.
Right, and not just the application piece of it, like really being able to explain their reasoning, talk about math, explore the different strategies to be able to attack math so that we can really align it too with our portrait of a graduate, make sure that we're creating these critical thinkers, these problem solvers, effective communicators. Like that all to me is tied in so much to the math. So just trying to get everybody on board and find a new program that will develop those type of students. And that brings me to the how.
That's you.
So the how is actually broken up into two different goals. So the first goal was to implement instructional supports throughout the school year to ensure that all students have equitable access to learning opportunities that will accelerate their growth and achievement. Basically what this means for us is we really try to delve into the fact that we're putting our focus in two different areas, not only student growth, but also that enrichment piece. We need to start driving all students' learning. So making sure that we're filling those learning gaps with scaffolding, but then really also taking those, meeting students and then also their exceeding students and pushing them to the next level. I know as a teacher, it was rewarding tonight to see so many of my former students achieving like MCAS scores. Like that's what we want to see. We want them to buy in. We want them to understand that they have, power in their own education and a right to advocate for their learning. So we're seeing that. We're seeing the students start to develop that love of math, love of learning, so that we can develop this rapport between both the teachers and the students. The other thing we're trying to do is we took our instructional support and we're just trying to create a pathway where it's not just us trying to, aim for the higher testing success. We're really trying to come up with enhanced teaching methods, making sure that we're giving all students the opportunity to engage and access the curriculum. Right now with our RTI, we are really focusing on creating entry points for the students throughout the school year. So if they feel like they're not, hitting it in topic 1 or unit 1 in ELA, they have other access points throughout the year to really build themselves up in the curriculum and feel successful. The second goal is to continue working with focus schools to strengthen our instructional leadership team, support all teachers by delivering high quality teaching and learning for all students, no exceptions. I am not only a 5th grade teacher, but I've been on the ILT and also had a chance to work with the focus schools and the base camp. And it's really driven the work that we've been doing as a team, and it feels like a team. We have so many different voices. We've created strong working relationships. Grade level teams have strong relationships. At the grade levels, we're creating these new common assessments, really looking at the data, providing our students back with just feedback, not just a grade, letting them know what they need to do to work harder. And we're really just getting to a point now where we're encompassing the student learning and like driving the growth, but everybody's on board from us just down to the students. So I think that that's really been awesome to see.
just so folks know, the reason this keeps beeping and it's gone off again, but Carrie Purcell from Focus Schools is trying to join us, so that's who's been
I
trying
know.
to.
She is, yeah.
Keeps cutting in and out.
But what I wanted to say about that is that it is truly a pleasure. I mean, she's not here, but I am hearing her voice in all of what you guys are saying, and the passion is wonderful.
And that's the thing, it feeds
to
down
hear
from the
you
top.
say, you know, it feels like a team. I don't know that we've heard those comments in a long time, if ever. So that's very powerful.
And I want to add to that is the students feel like they're part of the team. You know, in the past 2 years when I did observations, it's like, oh, Ms. Rump, come in again. And now they're like, Ms. Rump, come over here. And they want to show me their work. And I have students sharing work with me on,
They want to
you know,
be on the football
actually,
team.
they want to be on the football team. And I had a student, I was sitting there yesterday, I was observing a teacher, and when they break into partners, and one of the students said, whispered to the teacher, and the teacher said, she can't, she's typing. And I said, what? Well, he want to work with you. And I said, oh, come on in. I closed my computer. It's just the kids, I feel like we're not just a team, but the kids are also part of our team. Right? It's so wonderful to see that. Oh, sorry.
That's not you. Oh, no, that's fine.
That's you.
My counselor.
Yeah, wait, before you go on.
Sorry,
Tammy,
I
go
just
ahead.
had one question. When you talked about providing data on like assessments and you're, you know, saying specifically what you're doing, is that feedback going to parents as well? Are they, so at my school, because we have common assessments that they use after, you know, I'm at the high school level, we do not send the assessments home because we don't want next year's kid to be able to know the answers ahead of time. So I'm just wondering, what feedback do the parents get on those assessments to be, because we do have some parents who will try to help on that. Does that feedback go back to them as well?
So like, for instance, this week we just took our topic 3 math test. So the students were in my class, 5th grade, had to set a learning goal. So we had a class goal of what we were hoping to accomplish. Each student had what they were hoping to accomplish. So they got direct feedback as to whether or not they met the goal, like a conference with me, and then like a note card afterwards that they could take home, so that the parents were seeing, you know, because not all the parents know that that's what they're doing in school. They're setting the goals for themselves, how they reached it, maybe like a little blurb on what they have to give back. That's the kind of feedback that we've been talking about, especially again from Carrie, really pushing in and making sure that it's like something that they can take away that's going to drive like the growth down the road, like that we're going to keep building those relationships with them and they know what's expected of them and raising the bar. So a lot of times like that, the parents will be privy to that. But then also another way with the 2-way communication with assessments is just letting them know, like check-ins throughout the year. Like we're really big on that, like making sure that the parents know at this point in this year, this is what your child should be able to do. Here's like a discussion you could have at home. So even giving the parents like discussion starters to have with the child so that they can see it as well. So there's lots of that kind of 2-way, but in terms of the feedback, not the tests going home.
And that part is also in our for the community. We're not perfect. We're still working on it, and then that's our goal, to create that 2-way communication. Is not just informational giving, but more like providing that feedback, and we're still working on that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's important that feedback, continued feedback that the parents are receiving as well, especially as we come off the COVID year where they heard you all teaching every day for some of them. And now, thank the goodness, we are all back in school, but you know, they're getting a lot less information now just because of the distance learning thing. So just making sure do we need to do something?
No, Carrie's back.
Okay. Is she back? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Or maybe she is. Or no, she isn't, but.
I'm so cool.
So, sorry, so please continue, please.
So the next one is the whole child. I think we didn't expect kids coming back like they lost that routine. I know we had in person last year, but we had students that were remote. When we regroup thinking about our school improvement plan, we have to refocus, rebuilding that relationship, because they have been gone for a year and a half. Even the kids who were in person, they have been gone for a year and a half. So we, on our whole child, we really want to build that relationship to support their social emotional growth. And so our counselor are they're very visible in the hallway, in the classroom. And the other, few weeks ago, we were talking about, our RTI rotation, and we talked about what role those counselors play in that, doing RTI. Because we talk about academic. But then if that social emotional piece is not in place, there's nothing you can do. So the counselors decided that they're going to look at the caseload and looking at the pre-assessment, identify those students, and they go into those RTI blocks. And they're there for those students to support them. They might be in an RTI ELA block, but if they're not ready, those counselors will pull them out and talk to them. So we really want to make sure that piece is in place. And we also, as Christina said, we continue with the Choose Love and the mindfulness lesson. In addition to that, the bullying lessons. But we don't want to just teach them in the guidance class. We want to bring that back to the classroom. We want to collaborate with the teachers. So this year we're focusing on how do you collaborate with the teachers, continue with that learning. So for example, September was courage. And okay, you have courage. You not just have courage in the guidance class. You have courage in the classroom. You have courage in the lunchroom. You have courage in the hallway. So how do you bring that into, throughout the school building and eventually bring it home, outside the school. We also building the MTSS and PBIS team. And
what's an MTIS?
Multi-tier support team.
Thank you.
And then PBIS is positive behavior intervention support. To support our students, as Christina mentioned about those horseshoes, kids can cash in. One thing I do notice, and I'm surprised, they save all their horseshoes and they want to cash in to just say the pledge.
Someone was looking for
See, I tried to get them to say the pledge today. No horseshoe was even needed.
They want to be part of it. They want to involve with the school. And one student said to me, I just want to be principal today.
Wow.
I said, well, that's going to cost you a lot of horseshoes.
Well, and then the students are really internalizing that as well, because we're all getting teacher horseshoes. They're making horseshoes for us, and if they see us I've got 3 on my desk. They come and they give us a teacher horseshoe.
I got 2 today.
Go time.
But that's the piece
Kara, I'm going to put you on the spot, but is this happening across all? Are all means all? Are English language learners? Everybody's.
Yeah, I work specifically with the English language learners, and I think they're taking it to heart the most, because they're the ones that are trying to figure out how to be in a regular classroom, and some of the ones I work with don't speak a lot of English, and so they're trying to figure out where their role is, and so they are adapting. And when I pull them out, they can also earn horseshoes with me, and so that's really, and I give them horseshoes for effort, for trying to use that new language that they're learning. And so just by that, I have a little boy I worked with for the first 3 weeks. He wasn't talking in his class at all, but when he came with me, he didn't stop talking. And so it's well, how can we get him to open up? And this past week, he's really started raising his hand and trying to participate in class. And so it's showing that these systems we have in place amongst the school are really self-motivating for these kids.
We have a student that he's reluctant to speak for a couple of years, Jason Benham. I think Jason actually scared him. No,
Maybe a little bit. Well, that would happen to most people, but okay.
So I'll speak, but I'll just create this chart, and if he wants something, he can point to the picture. Oh, he said today to his teacher, I don't need that. And then he went like this.
The horseshoe. That's my concern, though, because what happens when there are no more horseshoes?
Well, then they're mature, a little bit older, a little more mature.
Maybe.
They may not need that. It's really.
It's just another way to scaffold.
I know, I get it. I just think everybody gets really excited at the beginning of the year, and then by January, let's see how many, because my fear, it's just mine, but it's I earn these horseshoes, but now tomorrow I'm doing the exact same behavior, but I didn't get a horseshoe today. Like I got it yesterday, and I'm still doing that positive behavior,
They'll
and I
ask
didn't get
for
it
one.
today.
They'll
What?
still ask for it.
Clearly.
They do.
But that's my issue with that reinforcement. But that's just me.
And then we have community. So we're focused on keeping the community engaged and helping every grade 2 to 5 student grow as a learner. The way we're doing that is inviting and encouraging the families and parents to come in and be part of the school. It's not those one times when you just see them at pickup or drop off or at the one open house or the one parent teacher conference. Teachers and staff are constantly reaching out to families, reaching out to parents, trying to keep them involved in their child's education. And we also encourage and strive for frequent two-way conversations. It's not just, I'm calling home to tell you your child did this. It's, let's have a conversation about this is what's going on. Let's work together to see how we can help your child be successful as a team, working with each other. And then we also, with this aspect, continuing to improve the way that we educate and improve cultural diversity across the school. Improving cultural relevant engagement amongst the staff, students, and families throughout the school-wide. And the second one is families and school staff collaborate with community members to connect students, families, and staff to expand family engagement opportunities and community services. So we have a school council that meets, I think they meet monthly, and they're working to plan for family and community involvement ways, activities that they can plan to get the community members involved, families, get everyone involved in helping make this community of our school great. And also having staff, students, families, and community partners working together to improve the school and enhance student learning opportunities. So giving community partners opportunities to come in or offer activities to continue to grow these student opportunities and student learning opportunities within the building.
Any questions? Anything?
A lot of great work. Thanks, team.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I'd like a horseshoe, please.
I do love that they're
Get one.
utilizing.
Well, no horseshoe for you.
The what?
I do love that they're utilizing the school council.
Oh, yes,
Because I feel
both
like
people have mentioned that so
in
far.
recent
They were
years, that
dying.
wasn't the case.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I thought they were dying out. So I love that myself. I agree.
Kurt, Miss Riley, welcome.
Good
Hanging
evening.
tough at 8:15. Thank you, ladies. Long evening. We're so glad you're here, though. Thank you.
I have Mrs. Riley with me, our school guidance counselor.
Hello.
She's on our ILT team as well as the SEL team. We have 2 different teams and they meet every other week. So she'll speak to some of it. So first is just our data of some key findings. At the top is the MCAS. And so this is for students meeting or exceeding. So all students for ELA, if you look at like grade 6, which is our current 7th graders, in 2019, 55% of them were meeting or exceeding. And then last year, 28%. So that is a negative of 27. There was not much, there was still some difference in 7th and 8th, but not as much as that 6th grade, that's our current 7th. Same thing with the math. You had in grade 6, 42% were meeting or exceeding, and then last spring, 27, for a difference of 15% of the students. And so in our STAR beginning of year, the data was not much different. So if you look at grade 6 for meeting and exceeding, you have math at 38, reading at 40, grade 7 at 26 and 33, and grade 8 at 39 for both. So looking at that data, we spent some time during our ILT and then deciding what do we want to take for steps at school, in our school, for our school improvement plan. So we look like we have a lot more goals at the middle school.
Yeah.
So just so people realize we don't. So each one of those bullets is actually a different group of staff because we're by content area. So each area has one area of focus that's on the curriculum. So that's why it does look a lot more than at the elementary, and I know the high school would be having that same conversation. So for humanities and ELA, we are still working to implement the Amplify program. We are redoing the 100-day plan due to the hybrid block schedule that we had last year. We did not get through all 5 units. So we are doing all 5 units, ensuring that we get through all 5 units this year. But also with the ESSER funds that we received, we had purchased Amplify Reading and Amplify Close Read. That is an individual plan for students so that when they're using it, it adjusts at every single student's level to give them the instruction and the supports that they need. And with that purchase, we made sure to match that up with how long we have Amplify. So we have that for 5 years. So that will go out with the whole course that we have for the Amplify before it comes up again. And so we're using that to make sure that we have just-in-time supports for students with the interventions and working to make adjustments in what students are getting extra help every 6 weeks. The science technology teacher, guidance counselors, STEM staff, and rotation is continuing to implement the career exploration program. We're making a second, like a year 2 piece, addition to the STEM courses with the ASA. And then last year, you did know we also received a grant from Project Lead the Way. So that's actually being added with the science staff. And the history and the science are still working on their project-based lessons. Actually, the history staff, both the grade 7 and grade 8, the instructional coach and myself were in Marlboro for the day. The state offered a project-based learning through PBL Works, which was formerly known as Buck Institute. So we really learned even more about how to really make great rigorous projects for our students. And so we're just very excited at the end of today for what we're going to do with that. And the math department's still working on ensuring what is going to be our final curriculum piece. But what we did add is because we are making sure to give the students the just-in-time support. So they're working on what groups of students, what standards do they need some help with, and making sure that those students are getting intervention. So we wanted to capture all the work that we're doing. So ELA and math may seem like they're doing more than one goal, but it's always, that's the way it is for ELA and math. So I don't know, as a former ELA teacher, I don't know how else to say it. So for the how, we have been working on ACE. It's funny, you see our ACE poster every time you have a meeting here. That's actually going to get changed up. So on our PD day with the instructional leadership team, and we have created, we're going to be working on interacting with a source. First, we were using the word annotation, and then we wanted to change that because we want to make sure all contents can using it. So if you say source, if you say annotation, everyone always automatically assumes text. And we don't want that because in music, you could be marking up the music sheet of what you need to do, art and pictures and drawings. So that will be mainly our focus on the PD day on Monday. And then we hope at the end of the year start talking about what would be our third practice that we want to do. So what we're wanting to do is we're actually going to take ACE, and we wanted simple, like the staff, we were going to use FWHMS. We were like, oh, let's use Bmrsd. And then at the beginning of this year, after everyone had the entire summer to think about it, they were like, we don't like that. So we really like that just has 3 simple letters. Yep. So we've come up with that we're going to use RISE, which is read, interact, support, and explain. And actually, so you'd have ACE running this way and RISE running this way so that the S connects because they both mean support. And then kind of have a poster that has the 2 integrated. And just thinking about, where did I write it? So we were trying to think of maybe using the words RISE and ACE to say that we will rise to ace our critical thinking skills, or we will rise and ace our critical thinking skills. So just finding a way to interact the 2 so that the students see them both connected because they are very connected. So while we did ACE first, it was something that the staff had already done before, but really annotation is what's going to make ACE stronger because the way you interact with a source and marking it up, you're gonna be able to write better. So, and then the whole child, I'm gonna let Sloan do some speaking for me, so I can take a small little break.
Hi. So, of course, the last 2 years, we have incorporated the Choose Love curriculum, which is across our district. And that particular curriculum is designed to teach students and educators how to choose love in any circumstance. It is aligned with CASEL, and it's a character, social, emotional development focus, and it's based with a mindfulness, character, develop emotional intelligence. The piece of that, the pillars to that are courage, gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion and action. We needed a little bit more than that, though, especially needing a bully prevention specific piece to it. And although we can take Choose Love and try to incorporate it, we this year we decided to use the Second Step program, which has a very specific very specific bully prevention curriculum within it. And the beauty to the Second Step program is that it is web-based and it's 26 lessons. We are currently incorporating them every Friday, pretty much all the way through, I believe, May. It is being taught by all teachers and staff. So if they have a teacher in a classroom, but they also might have me in a classroom or some other staff member, team chair in a classroom, whoever it happens to be. So it's across the school that everybody is becoming familiar with Second Step and what we're teaching and the wording and all that kind of stuff. And so it's offered.
All the chalking and all the window painting a part of that?
Yes, absolutely. So that's on every Friday for 25 minutes. First thing in the morning, we are doing the Second Step program. That particular program, web-based, is really, it's research designed, and it is basically, meant to develop a social psychology, and it's mindset and goals is the first part of it. Recognizing bullying and harassment, the piece to that piece that I really like is it's just not recognizing bullying and harassment, but it's also examining social and emotional environmental factors that contribute to that negative behavior and really bringing about a change in how things are looked at. There's a thoughts, emotions, and decision piece, which is students recognizing their emotions and learning how to regulate them, which is really key. And then the last piece is learning about how to manage your emotions and conflict resolution. So those two curriculums we're trying to really incorporate with one another. Second Step is that 25 minutes on Friday, but there are lessons that will be incorporated, really almost like blast lessons that teachers will put out there on Choose Love, whether or not it be, it takes courage to stand up to somebody for that it's being bullied or harassed, or forgiving someone for the actions that they have, or having compassion. So we're trying to really incorporate the two of them together here at the middle school. We also, for the whole child piece this year, very excited, the ESSER funds were used to create a sensory room. And our sensory room is really to provide all students that need it a therapeutic space where a variety of interactive equipment and tools are in there to help a student calm and focus themselves, regulate themselves, whatever it happens to be, whether or not they're agitated and they need to focus, or they're just, have too much energy or whatever it happens to be, so that they're better prepared to learn and interact with others.
And are they using it?
They are using it.
All students?
Not every student. It's available to any student who wants it. We're slowly getting more people familiar about it. We actually had a student who we were showing today, and she was just so excited about it. She had already shared. So one of the other things that we have is that's a classroom, but we also decided that we needed some things in the classroom themselves. So we purchased the bands, the fidget bands that go on the chairs or the desks. And so a great many of our classrooms have those bands that just allow a student to move in their seat and, stretch in their seat. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been up all the way around here, not sitting, because I know how that is for me. So it's really great for the students to do that piece of it. So they're there, and every classroom has one standing desk. I wish we had more, but it's wonderful. There's usually a waiting list for it.
It has a fidget bar in the front too.
So the students standing there and they're just rocking the foot or whatever, but that movement is sometimes the key between a student blurting and needing to leave the classroom by having those bands and that desk. So that's a really positive thing that the students are really enjoying.
And we have a lot of different fidgets too.
Sloan, are we keeping data for the
sensory room?
particular, for the sensory room, for the particular students using it and the duration?
Yes, so every
Okay.
student has to fill out a form going in, recognizing why they're there, what the emotion is that they're dealing with, as well as, you know, it's timed, framed, all that type of stuff. And then before they leave, they also have to evaluate where they're currently at, and all that information's being tracked. Yes, good stuff.
So then the next goal is for the community. We're continuing to keep up with our two-way communication. Last year, we started a new website called Student Assignments, where teachers, everything was linked on there, so as parents can go on and see, especially when a lot of them were at home. So we still have that teachers are updating, and we're continuing to work that when the teachers are not just posting stuff, but that there's resources there to help. That's really a good part of a teacher's standard 3 evaluation, is not just communicating with families, but providing resources for that, so that families can help their child when they're at home. And then the last piece is just us continuing to share out to the families about our evidence-based practices. So we'll be starting to tell families about the RISE once we have that ready to go after our PD day.
I apologize, there's also a community piece for Second Step, where we'll be updating families regularly so that they're familiar with language and pieces of it as well.
So we actually it's in every single newsletter every month labeled Second Step, and there's a whole document off of that where they can go and read exactly all the topics that are being covered ahead of time, so that they have the same words and vocabulary that the child is going to be learning.
Great.
That's it.
Any questions?
you.
Thank you very much.
Good work.
wanna do
Thank
her
you
other
so
thing, or
much.
do you wanna make her stay longer? I guess I'm gonna stay longer. Oh, good. Oh, good.
And last but certainly not least, this evening,
feel like
Ms.
I should
Fowlis
say-
and Mr. Sullivan, welcome.
To make sure you're awake. There. Hello. Go ahead, tell them who you are.
Who am I?
Fred, yes, who are you?
I'm Tim Sullivan. I'm a special education teacher at the high school and also a 3-year member of the ILT.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And a trooper for being here for 2.
Yes, thank you, you
Yeah. Sorry, thank you.
So
Rock
he
stars
gets,
here.
he gets bonus points. So where we started was where I started my journey when I began here, is looking at what is our focus at the high school and how is that going to mold everything we do. And that's the portrait of the graduate. That work was already done, but we are embracing this at the high school and really running with it. In fact, when we sat down to work and create as an ILT this document, we sat with that exact image in front of us and we asked, does the what, the how, the whole child and the community match with this portrait of the graduate work? If so, what is the evidence? And if not, how do we fix that? So that was something that was first and foremost in our minds. We are focusing on that critical thinker that spans everything, working with year 2 of our authentic assessments, utilizing our interventionists with the data that goes along with looking at some data and also this need for career and college, expanding our pathways, but also utilizing community to allow our students to have opportunities to be exposed to careers that they might be interested in. I'm just going to highlight one. We're working with the BVEF and WPI and Waters, and a group of 30 of our juniors and sophomores will have the opportunity to work in collaboration with Waters employees.
Wow.
To work on an engineering project. And then the last piece will be exposure to WPI. The last session will be WPI letting them know what is available for them at that collegiate level after they turn that tassel. So that is our focus in a nutshell. Oh,
And we're done.
there we go.
That was
Correct.
it.
There we go. Okay, thanks.
You really
High school's on the move.
All right, you'll take
That's it, Gracie.
Nice work.
There you go.
We've been looking at reviewing and updating our curriculum for a couple of years now. I know through the English department, they're using Study Sync, which is a pretty robust program of, it has everything from audio books to structured reading. You can make grade level readings available to every student. And they, from what I've heard, they're very happy with it. The math department is looking to update their curriculum. I've actually been lucky enough to spend some time with them this year in PLC to see what they do in terms of coming up with programming and also using MCAS and STAR data to guide instruction and to put us in the right direction. I know English does that as well. Science and technology is using their Project Lead the Way curriculum plans for biomedical and engineering pathways. That's been very successful. Social Studies Department is looking at the frameworks to put in place all of the things that we need to make sure that we're following the right path in creating more civic-minded and giving history, well, getting it away from the bad rap that it usually gets from students. But all departments are using data to, especially from our authentic assessments, to guide our instruction and to see where we need to beef up areas and help students out so that they can become better critical thinkers and give them the tools they need to succeed, not only within the classroom and the school building, but outside in the community and in their further endeavors.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The how, we are looking and working with, again, New England Base Camp, like you've heard, and our focus schools at our instructional focus, which is this ACE or Answer Support Explain. Similar to what we're seeing here, I will say that the feedback, initial feedback, has been extremely positive. We're hearing that students are finding the formula and being able to support and improve their writing, and this is only the end of October, so we're very excited about what this is going to look like moving forward. When I go through walkthroughs, I'm seeing this happening in classrooms, and it's not just that English classroom, and where students are talking about evidence, 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 and what does that mean, and to support. So we're really excited about that. Along with this work with New England Base Camp is that year 2 of authentic assessments. While it is important for our students to be exposed to multiple choice type questions, because we can't get away from that, STAR and MCAS, it is also looking at that real world opportunities and how can you apply that. So it's not enough just to do and look at medals and try to determine what they are. How about you're a NASA analyst and you need to write a report to find out whether what they brought back from the moon was in fact lunar or something John Glenn left up there. And so that's that type of real world application of taking what we would do and then kicking it up a notch. So we're really excited about that work. We had New England Base Camp with us all day on Tuesday, working to calibrate. We are very sure that we have got it and we're ready to move forward and look to integrate our authentic assessments, not just as big overarching assessments, but getting them in and getting that critical thinking and authentic assessments in anywhere you see. The next piece is the whole child, which is something that's near and dear to me. This is our Charger Community Time, our advisory program that it was of the past, but we're calling our Charger Community Time. This is where we're looking at creating that culture, creating that relationships, having that adult in the building that they identify as someone that they trust and can go to when times are tough or when they just need to kind of throw some things around. and process. So that is something that we're working on. Within that, so tomorrow will be our senior parade. So during Charge of Community time will be some more team building, because this will be our second one, but also getting to participate and vote on the best senior costumes. So, and staff costumes too, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
Right, we didn't plan that. I would just add here, additionally, with this whole child piece with the social emotional, we're looking at what are the needs of our students and trying to match that. And we have implemented recently our Mindful Minute, which is the opportunity for students to come during our second chance breakfast, to come into the auditorium and just be quiet and reset and hit pause. Similar to the middle school, we are looking also to create a wellness room so that students who are feeling anxious, overwhelmed, fill in the blank, can have a chance to reset. We also will be collecting data on that to seeing how long they need, who are the repeat, is there a time of day, and using that data to help our students. Also peer mentors, looking at that as well, and potential, mental health awareness days to help our kids. And then circling all back to where we started in the beginning is our Portrait of the Graduate. And using this as a way to really educate our families, because you've heard about it or you see POG somewhere, but what does that really mean? And how do we allow you to understand and have tangible understanding of these pillars? So our hope is that in the spring we will have a celebratory expo where the community will be able to come in and see our pillars in action. I also have been doing a weekly update, and I talked with our school council, team last night, who suggested that might be a great tool to not only just explain what a pillar is, but then also to bring in some pictures to show what we're doing, show leadership in action, show communication in action, show that creativity piece. So that's going to be kind of like a 7-part series.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Don't change the channel.
Yes, there you go. But we're looking forward to having this. But this is what is driving our work.
Any questions?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So just before we wrap this piece, I just want to share with the team that, the committee and the community for that matter, but the school teams, the instructional leadership teams, the administrative teams, the coaches, the planning, teaching, and learning coaches, I think it's evident how focused, how determined everybody is. I hope that, year after year, we kind of get better at this. I think our focus gets tighter. I think we get more aligned. And I'm just super, super proud of the teams, their hard work, their time, effort, energy. What you saw and heard and you have in your packets, this is just what we're doing. So this was not difficult necessarily to create, because it's the work that they do every day. It's the work that we're all doing collaboratively as one instructional team, one leadership team, pushing the district forward. So I can't thank the staff members enough that were here tonight, that waited all that time. But they really are. If you came in, and hopefully you'll be able to at some point, and I'd love to do building visits with our school committee members. And if you came in and saw, you would see this in action. It's actually quite an impressive thing, even down to when there's no power. Walking through the middle school yesterday morning, I was actually, Tanya and Jill were off on a learning walk. I was by myself and kind of floating through the building, just checking in on everybody. And I didn't want to interrupt their lessons. The teachers were just moving. They're very determined. And it was just, it's really great to see. So a big shout out to our staff. Anything else in this piece? All right. Tanya, if you want to join us, we're actually going to do 2 pieces. Jane, is that okay with you?
Yep, it's all good.
If we do the intervention staff at the middle school and then the Washington, D.C. trip.
And your choice what you want to do first.
Yeah, wherever you want to start, Tanya. I'm sure you want to stick around for a couple more hours, but you might have a child to put to bed.
I can do the DC trip, so then Jesse has a chance to put I didn't know, is he going to put the other thing to present? So.
Okay.
the grade 7?
You know, it's in their packet, the grade 7.
Okay,
thing's in their
okay.
packet.
So you can do DC.
Okay. So the DC trip, we're going to see if we can do it. So you have in your packet is a proposed itinerary. We would leave on June 6th, early in the morning, and then return, we leave DC at 1. Hopefully we'd be back by 10 on Wednesday, June 8th. We are at the same place as we were last time, the Comfort Inn Pentagon, which is in Arlington, which is very close to all of the sites, so we're not spending a lot of time in traffic. It would be with coach buses. The price of $600 includes the coach buses. Each bus also, however many buses we end up filling, each bus comes with a tour guide, so they actually explain all of the sites.
Which is what you did the last time.
Yep, everything is exactly
Yeah.
the same. And the only thing that is different is on day 2, the dinner. Unfortunately, the Waterford, I forget Waterford something it was called, has COVID, was not kind, and so they went out of business. So the company does not have yet someone else that can do that kind of dinner that we had then. So they mentioned something else that could be where I really wanted to keep the price of the trip at least the same price we had from 2 years ago, because I know a lot of families, it was going to be an expensive cost, I think, after a pandemic and still in a pandemic to pay for this trip. So they mentioned something called the Ghost Tour of Alexandria. We actually didn't go to Alexandria last time, so thought that would be interesting to the students. And many of the students last time wanted to go to the Pentagon City Mall. We didn't have time for that. I think every single kid was very upset they did not get to shop at the Pentagon City Mall. So I said that would be a great place, a great substitute, and was sorry to hear that other company had gone under. So the only thing and this also includes, we actually get a nice professional photograph. So walking out of my office in the main office, I actually have the one that we have. So they have a professional photographer come down and actually take the group photo. And we always have a shirt made for the students. So that cost includes that shirt. The hotel room are 4 students per hotel. And, this is a local company that's like a family-owned company. So like when the photographer was finished and all the photographs were wrapped and in a box, the owner delivered those photographs to me in DC to check in. How is everything? Is there anything that wasn't good? So they really want to make sure that they do a nice job for us. I know last time we talked about the insurance. It's all the same amount of insurance, $5,000 accidental medical, $2,000 medical and hospital expenses, $3,000 if there's a death or a loss of limb. I know we had well, actually it said dismemberment, so we had a little chuckle on that one last time. And there's actually even accidental dental of $1,000, so if something happened and someone needed to go to the dentist.
What's not in here yet is COVID protocols for all this. So we please know that before we get to any questions, we're already on that. We have a meeting next week, Tanya, Matt, Karen, and I, to start looking at what would be the protocols we would need. So those are still kind of under development and figuring out, and who knows, frankly, where we're going to be by June. But we felt very strongly that we got to get out in front of this and try to get something in place for the students the best we can. So we'll have protocols to discuss at a later date for sure.
The last time when we did pay for the trip, and we unfortunately did not get to go on the trip, we did not have to pay for the full price of the trip, but it is a $125 non-refundable deposit that we have to hand in by December 15th for any student who is wanting to attend. I can't take students after that date. They've allowed me to continue to add students, but we do have to give a non-refundable deposit. I did in the past, but I hope more families would listen. So they actually provide a travel insurance for $31.50 additional, families can purchase an additional travel insurance that some families purchased last time. It's really a great plan. It's a plan that they've always had, because say if your student ends up on crutches the day before, you cannot walk DC on crutches. So they have a cancel for any reason. So for any reason you can cancel. Your kid doesn't deserve to go on that trip and you say, I want to cancel it, you would at least get 75% of your money back from that, from them. So that will definitely be going home, and highly advise that you get that for $31.50. I would hope more people buy travel insurance nowadays. Like, no one really ever bought travel insurance before COVID. I think I might have been the only one when I went to London and actually paid for travel insurance. That was the first time I'd done it, and I've gone to numerous places out of the country. But that was pre-COVID. So I just wanted to mention that, and I will make sure families know you actually have to send that payment directly to the travel company. That money does not come to the school. So you have to pay them directly in order to be part of that program, that travel insurance.
Thanks, Tanya. Anybody have any questions?
I just have
Tammy?
one comment. If we could make the $125 non-refundable in the biggest font that fits on the paper, that would be fantastic, because that came up, that with the COVID thing, that has come up everywhere, and we just, we don't have the funds to reimburse 100 people,
right?
$125.
I'm happy that the travel company did not go out of business. They were really concerned with that, with the amount of, they haven't been able to give tours in a year and a half. I have, since I've been here with these trips, do 3 different fundraisers if people want to participate, and I've had quite a few students who have fundraised the full price of that trip.
Wow.
So that they didn't even have to pay for the trip. They've got other people to purchase different things.
Yeah.
So we'll still do fundraisers. The PTO sometimes gives funds, but unfortunately with COVID and the amount of events the PTO has been able to have, these fundraisers, we'll be telling people you really need to do these fundraisers, because if you need to supplement somehow, these are going to be the ways to do it. Or just flat out ask family and friends for a flat donation, and you don't have to do any fundraising.
So this will go out in time for everybody to make your December.
If you approve it, I would like to send the entire packet out on Tuesday when the kids come back.
Any other questions?
Fingers crossed.
I have fingers crossed, because they need it. It's an iconic part of the civics program, and go ahead, Tim.
I'm looking, and I understand Capital Tours, and they're a business. Do they have a methodology on their website for parents to make that non-refundable deposit instead of having to send a check or money order?
No, so all the families give us the money. We put it aside. We actually track every single student, how much they've paid, if they've done fundraisers, depending on how many students and how much is fundraised, depends maybe on like the percentage you get. So once we find out exactly what students earn on like fundraisers, every single family has been emailed before saying you've earned. So we actually collect that, and we have to then send them the check.
But he's talking about the $31.50.
The $31.50.
The $125 deposit that's non-refundable.
Right. That comes to the school, and we send them one check.
Okay, so the parents would send that check into the school.
Yes.
And then you. Okay.
And then by December 15th, I just have to have it in the mail to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
In the mail.
It's in the mail. Checks in the mail.
But the $31.50, as you were saying, that
to go
does
directly
have to go to that company, and I'll make sure families
can pay it on the website or whatever.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve a Washington DC trip for the 8th graders. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Send it out. And next.
So next, I guess you get to hear from me a lot tonight. The 7th grade action plan. So as you've seen in our presentation about where the 7th graders are, it's actually on this document again. So our core classes sizes are ranging between 26 and 29 students in the 7th grade. We have right now currently for MCAS, you see the numbers and the BOI again. That was actually what was in my previous presentation. So trying to think outside of the box and things that we currently have, what we're asking is to add an additional one full-time math and a full-time ELA interventionist that would work solely with the 7th grade. There's a lot of some math professional development they're already going to be getting. And we also reached out for New England Base Camp to help us with our intervention and just-in-time supports to make sure what we're doing is working. So what we would like for these staff is they would actually follow the school day on Monday and Fridays, but we have, using the ESSER funds, that late bus, so that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we could actually provide like an extended school day. So the staff members would come later, they would do the full amount of time of what other middle school staff have to do for time, but they would go till 4 o'clock so that they could be teaching those students extra, because we can do a lot of things during the school time, but we really just need more time with the students. So what the students, the 2 new interventionists would be doing with the staff of the team is co-planning and co-instruction with the ELA and the math, co-teaching on Mondays and Fridays, and then creating those intervention plans together of what it is that they would be doing with those students in those after school hours. And it wouldn't be that the students would be there every day for the whole school year. It would be a different rotation of students who would be staying after for that extended period of time. And our first thing would be going from those who are needing the most support and then working our way up.
So we are looking for approval for that proposal.
I have a question here. It's students being provided busing. Is that the late bus that we're currently
Yeah, that's
running?
already for our ESSER 3 funds.
Okay. That was my only question.
We are trying to make full use of those buses.
and I would hope there'd be an expectation that we would talk to coaches or others that practices don't start till 4 o'clock, so people don't feel like they're missing out on something.
That would be good.
What?
I said I think that will be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to see who the students are.
Because many students won't be able to get back here. So they stay, they get bused to the high school, and then some parents can't even pick up their kids, so they have, I just think, I get where you're coming from. I think that you will then impact.
I think to
us
your
do
point,
that
Jane,
as well.
because as of right now, we are going to have middle school basketball, which is here.
Right.
So that, something
That's
like
the
that,
only
that
one.
has
That's
a
what I
lot
was
of
thinking.
students in it. You know, certainly we could talk to the coaches about having the practice after 4. I think it depends on the number of students that are on
The issue is that what happens for basketball is the boys practice 2 to 4, the girls practice 4 to 6. So now you're having middle schoolers ended up until 8 o'clock practicing.
So in that scenario, how would we address that? Because we'd have students that would not be able to attend and would miss out.
First, you'd have to know who is on those teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of the students who are needing those
Right.
supports are
We
even
don't
going
know
to try
that.
out for those teams.
And I'd make an argument too that if they don't have the grades, they're not playing anything.
Right.
Well, no, but
So
I would make the argument that if I'm a parent and you're telling me, you
So
call
the
me,
MIA has rules against, is what I'm saying.
they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
yeah.
all I'm saying is we need to work as a team. If this is really a team effort, it has to be a team, and it has to include those things that parents, we have the parents who, and clearly we saw a lot of them today. We saw the younger people from the same family, the older people, academics clearly important, but that's not necessarily true across every family. And for some families, athletics is tremendously important. What?
Wouldn't you think that our coaches would encourage their players to go and get the academic?
If we're having a conversation. So that's why I'm saying, are we having those conversations?
And don't forget, it wouldn't be every day. So
Yeah,
the
that's what I
student's
was
going to
gonna say.
stay after school. So maybe this student will stay every Tuesday. So they are going to get help, but it's once a week. And I mean, any coach that you talk to would say they're athletic scholars, and scholars come first. So, if you're going to miss a practice, you have to have the grades. but you would have to know who's going to be on that team, if it would even have any kind of impact. And maybe those students could do, you know, they do the practices Monday and Friday because it's not after school on Mondays and Fridays.
Right. Yep. I just think there needs to be dialogue. That's
For
my
sure.
only point.
I mean, every student that would say we would need some help with it's going to be phone calls and telling them about the whole process and everything to begin with.
That makes sense.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve this or whatever we need to do to get this in motion.
So we need to approve the hiring of 2 interventionists.
And that's ESSER money?
Second. Yes.
And go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now, questions and discussion. Yes.
Is the union okay with doing flex scheduling for these people?
I've already spoken with them, so they said that they were going to, what was the exact language? We're going to toss it around and we'll get back to you. So there's always a plan B. There's always a plan B. So we have partner teacher positions that we could use that are already approved by the school committee if we need to do something creative to get around that. But we certainly, very respectfully to the union, they're not going to stop the progression that needs to happen for our 7th grade students.
Currently the 2 band teachers who come here actually run elementary hours. So like they start at the elementary and then they come here and then their prep is last actually after our dismissal, and then they just stay here to have the prep. So, I mean, we do
have flex
adjust
already.
schedules based on what positions some people have.
And do these get posted, Jason, so that because there may, there may be someone already here who would love to come in at 10 to 4 because they have little kids or whatever, so does that get posted internally first, then go out to School Spring or wherever we do? Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, there's a motion to approve the grade 7 action plan and hire 2 interventionists. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstention? Okay.
Thank you.
Post away.
That concludes my report.
Okay, well, Mr. Aaronworth, sorry for once again saving the best for last.
Not a problem. The only thing that we have to discuss with respect to the business office report is the committee raised the question of substitute teacher pay at the last meeting. So I put together some information for the committee. You can see that currently our day-to-day subs earn $75 a day, which based on a 6-hour day is $12.50 per hour. Our permanent subs go up to $85 a day, which is based on a 6-hour day, and that comes out to about $14.16 per hour. So there was conversations about moving the daily sub rates up to a minimum of $15 per hour. And I did list some information there for the committee to review. The $15 an hour, moving those daily subs, based on the last solid information that we have, which was from FY19, because from 20 and 21 we really were not using day-to-day subs. But if we were to go back to using daily subs, it's estimated that it would cost an extra about $16,600 to move all of the subs daily rate from $75 a day to $90 a day, which I can say we have had tremendous issues trying to secure substitutes in the buildings. I think this would, if not make a major difference, at least put a dent in some of the problems. And with respect to the daily subs, we want to entice our permanent subs to stay and be part of the community, so they do get paid at least slightly more. They also end up being eligible for more benefits, so that's definitely a perk for the permanent subs. But our recommendation is to increase the permanent subs up to $16 an hour, and that would bring them to $96 per day. That increase, given the number of subs that we have. That's very fixed, that cost. We have 5 permanent subs, 1 for each school, so to speak. 180 days, that would run us approximately an additional $10,000 to raise the permanent subs to that rate.
Or 17.
I'm sorry?
Or $17 a day.
It would,
Yeah,
the
an
rate
hour.
listed would be $16 per hour or $96
Right.
per day. $17 an hour would change.
To $102 a day and
Correct.
$15,000.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 17? What are you talking about, Jean?
Just,
Do you have both
oh,
options?
there was, it looks like the
No, I'm
only.
like, are you just doing some?
Only
I know,
I
I
do.
like
Like
suddenly
another
you're just adding.
I
an idea.
apologize. I did list both scenarios. It looks like only one made it
Oh,
into
only
the
I got it.
general
Yeah, I'm like,
packet.
oh, you just, are we gonna do, oh, maybe try 22? Like, I was wondering where you were
No, I
coming up with that.
apologize.
Like,
I had put
all right, let's try
together.
25. What does that look like?
I had put together a couple of
So
options.
so when I in our meetings that we have in preparation for this, and we were having the conversation, and in our meeting last time we said, well, if we raise one, our permanent ones are lower or worse off. And to me, raising it to $16 an hour makes the permanent sub $96 a day, which I know they get the benefits. I know they get the benefits if they so choose them and everything else. But for $6 extra, like they don't get to decide if they want to come in a day or not come in a day, or like $6 extra just doesn't seem like a whole lot. It just didn't seem like it was. I don't know. But anyway, so that's where I liked the $17 an hour, which was $102 a day, and made it a significant difference, because obviously you're going to get that for 5 days versus the, day-to-day stuff. It's kind of if there's an opening. But it's significant impact too. It's 15,000.
Yeah, that should be in here. I'm sorry. That should, I don't know why. that-
Yeah, I'm the only one who got it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
special.
I
just
I am
realized
special.
that.
I just thought Jane was going rogue.
I was. What do you want to go? We'll have a bidding war.
And actually, it'd be a little less than that, right? Because they're already into the school year. So
Right,
it's
we're
not
not-
really going to
yeah.
be 180 days.
That was my question. Is it retroactive?
But so
Or
in
is it
in doing homework, because every district is
Desperate.
really struggling with this everywhere, and the people that I mostly have conversations with are in Rhode Island, but I mean there are some districts that are up to $225 a day.
My goodness. Wow.
So we're not going there. Sorry, we're not going there. But there are several that are 130, 140. There are several. So.
Can I ask a couple of questions? And this is just my unfamiliarity with some of this yet. Okay, so A, being a permanent sub, what are the minimum requirements of that? Do you need a degree? Do we need, okay.
You don't need to be certified.
They don't have to have their, they don't have to have their license, but they need their
Okay,
college.
so you must have a degree.
Yeah.
In anything.
Yes.
Just a
yeah.
college degree.
College
yes.
degree.
Okay.
But to be a day-to-day, you don't have to have a degree. You have to have 2 years in college?
No, I don't think so.
Just have to be
Just
over
have a
18?
Pulse.
Holy macnamole.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have
A Corey
we have
check and a
parents
pulse.
That set for us.
We have
that-
recent graduates too in the past.
Yes.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as benefits, what is their package available for
So
permanent?
permanent subs are part of.
They're not part of Unity, but they
they're
get the
not.
same
But they
benefit
get the same benefits.
Okay.
opportunities.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion to raise the permanent subs to $17 an hour or $102 a day. Because of the way I'm looking at it, we're struggling to find people that are qualified to come in and do long-term subs. We don't need to struggle. We need to make sure that our children have adequate instructions.
So there's two parts. Do you want to propose raising the day-to-day to the $15?
I'll move that as well, to raise the day-to-day to $15 an hour or $90 a day. And then the permanent subs to $17 an hour or $102 a day.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Ooh, Carrie came first. All right, Tim and Carrie. All right, is there any further discussion?
I wanted to ask if we think that 17 is enough to get us in the better.
We
Is it all we
currently
can
have
really
permanent
afford?
subs
Yeah.
that are already employed.
Yeah.
So
Right,
I
and
think
And getting much higher than that gets us into a step one teacher
range, yeah.
salary, which requires a license and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And this has already been like looked at with our budget, current budget?
Current, yes, but I wanted to remind everybody that means when we do next year's and the ESSER funds aren't still there, well, they are for one more year, but we would need 16 and 15, 23,
In our base
Another
budget.
20-something thousand
Another
dollars, $30,000.
$30,000.
Yeah. Half
Oh,
of
ESSER will
half
do
of
it
a
for this
teacher
year though? We have ESSER for
to cover it this year.
Now, with this, and my question goes along with what you were just commenting about, how is this going to affect our negotiations with the Unit A that's currently ongoing? If we're getting close to their salaries, how would that affect us?
It shouldn't.
Yeah, it won't with
shouldn't
this.
really have any impact on the negotiations.
Yeah, if we say what was proposed will be fine.
I think it'll be almost appreciated because I think the teacher coverage is what kills you in a day.
Meeting with the high school staff today, I had my check-in with them. The two things the first thing they said was we need subs and we need more mental health support for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was a resounding.
I'll
It's a
agree
lot
with
at the high
that,
school.
just from
It's a lot anywhere.
dealing with my high schoolers. Granted, they're 2,000 miles away, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Discussion items? Hearing none, all those in favor of raising the hourly rate of daily subs to $15 an hour or $90 a day, and the hourly rate of permanent subs to $17 an hour or $102 a day, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
So moving on to the facilities. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that effective immediately?
As soon as the
That would be.
Okay. Happy pay raise.
Moving on to the facilities section of my report, as you can see, the facilities update is rather small this evening. I did just get information that the rooftops for the dugouts are coming in this next week, so those tops are going to get put in. I did include in the package, just for your information, some more information on the fencing that we discussed, but I know we're not going to be discussing that this evening. The tennis courts are still, we are waiting to get some more specific information on
Are we
when.
doing pickleball courts?
There's a picture here.
Yeah, I believe the lines, I would have to double check on that. I think I know that image was provided for the color.
Oh, okay.
I can't say specifically.
I don't think we have lights and.
No, it was done, it was given as the color option. I guess
Gotcha.
the point is,
Okay.
the green is going to take longer, because they're just that much further back ordered.
Yeah.
And then if we do choose to go with the other color that's presented, I think it's more of a bluish.
There's a blue and a red.
Yeah, it would be a little faster. As we get more specific timelines, I'll bring that back to the committee
Okay.
and kind of give an estimate of when those timelines would be. And the only other thing is that there is a little bit of a bubble on one of the safety laminates that we put into the vestibule, but it's covered under the warranty and that's getting taken care of. So it should be done tomorrow. Mhm. They're coming back tomorrow.
Okay.
Tara had a very valid point, and I agree with her. It needs to be purple and gold.
I will see what the back order is on those colors.
Well, no, they're not talking about fence. They're talking about the.
No, I meant the tennis courts. I know. It's the
That would be
tennis.
very cool.
Is that
it's-
weird?
It's the material of the tennis courts that's.
I have never
that's
seen a purple and gold
having
tennis court,
struggle.
but everything's possible.
At least I've read
But no
more
pickle.
amount.
We don't need
Might-
pickleball.
It might distract the
No.
players a little, but we'll see.
I have been through there after school and seen students climbing the fence to get in.
To play tennis, you mean?
They were climbing over the fence, chasing balls or whatever. They didn't have tennis rackets, but it's just a couple of boys that were climbing the fence.
It's a really tall fence.
It is. It is.
So,
Good training.
but yeah, it's the sooner we get that done, the better. With this wonderful weather we're experiencing, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. And
There's a cheer request.
the- I didn't know if there were any other questions or anything on the small report. Other than that, there is a cheer request that I believe has come to the committee
I have to recuse myself.
year after year.
Oh, they
Oh,
do?
do they? Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
So,
who knew?
I have a question on this cheer request.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go back and dig out past meeting
The
files.
basketball. I didn't think that.
I'm thinking basketball because we approved basketball. Now we've got a cheer request wanting to use the facilities on some of the same dates.
Rebecca, this is our Rebecca, right?
It's the
This is
same.
our she's one of our adjustment counselors that works in the building. She'll coordinate all the times with Carrie Marlborough, their admin assistant. That's, I think, because I kind of chuckled when she put all these dates on and stuff that was already, dates that were last night.
Yeah.
The night
Right.
before. The night
Week
before.
already.
So I think they put I think they put it all in and then they'll coordinate with Carrie Marlborough to make sure that the spaces are okay to use.
Honestly, I feel like she could probably even use the cafeteria.
Well,
if the
that's
gym
what the
was
other
booked.
cheer people, flag people do when
Yeah.
they can't get in the gym. They use the cafeteria.
It
Hopefully
typically
she
depends
just-
on
Oh, here, yeah.
It depends on the age group, and how high you need a ceiling. I used to do this for Lincoln.
They
These
don't
are little
have
kids.
that.
They
They
don't
don't
These
have
are
that.
pushkushkis.
Are they
Mine
throwing
are
anybody?
afraid to even
No.
climb on.
I don't think they're allowed to lift.
They do a
throwing?
pyramid.
Oh, yeah, but
Do a
they
nice
don't throw and
pyramid.
toss.
Yeah, no. You need the higher.
Oh, so the big
throw
people-
at, but
Okay.
yeah.
No, they don't have older kids. They only
Throw that
have
flying
what is the
through the air.
oldest group? Not yet. Junior Pee Wee, I think. Wilson.
Oh.
10. They don't have one for 10 and up.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
think
little.
kids up to 10 years old.
Yeah.
They don't have a full range of
So could we
cheerleaders.
just approve it
Yep.
based on
availability? and
not,
The
not
availability of
availability,
out.
and their
yeah,
needs, yeah.
Okay.
we can't.
Well, I
Do
move
that
to
again.
approve as
No, we can't.
submitted with dates to be adjusted going forward.
Second.
Okay. Moved in second. Any other discussion?
I think the only other question I have is that for some reason this second page is like, this year has been optional. They've filled the second page out before. Are we charging? Are we not charging? What's happening? Because the guideline says that you get it for free if it's the youth of for the sole purpose is to benefit youth of Blackstone Millville. This is out of North Smithfield.
Yeah.
So I just asking the question so that the person knows if they have to pay or not.
Just to
I mean,
clarify,
there are
though, it
obviously
is,
a lot of Blackstone Millville people who do it.
yeah, 'cause I was
but-
gonna say I think it's actually changed from North Smithfield to North Smithfield. Blackstone Millville is like part of the full organization. But yes, so there will be North Smithfield.
Yeah, because we don't
cheerleaders.
have a program.
Right, I just
Yeah.
asking if I think we should clarify if we are charging them or not charging them. I'm
Well,
not saying
in
we
my
should charge
opinion,
them, I'm
they'd
just
be-
asking.
Group
I'm
two.
confused. I got nothing.
A group
Group
two.
two.
Yeah, she checked out group two.
Yeah, group two. It says group two.
We're in the front.
Oh, this is just what gets approved after? Oh, okay.
So she said she's group two and they get charged per group two.
Is that each use
$20 for the gym.
times 6 or 5 because
Whatever.
we already missed a week.
Well, 1 to 9 users. Oh, it's late. Uses. The two are utes. Yeah, they only have 9 dates listed and they already missed some of them, so.
Yeah, so it'll be 5 or 6, depending if is the school open on the 11th for them to use?
No,
No, right? So there'll be 5.
Veterans Day.
$100.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Any abstentions?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Aaronworth, is that it?
That is all for my report.
All right. Any school committee forum issues?
Good luck to the girls tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be there.
I'll
Be
be
square.
there, 4 p.m.
Jason, do we want to talk about the Thanksgiving feast just quickly?
Oh, yes.
Because I don't think there'll be any eating in between. I just.
So, yeah. So what we are, well, the sigh is because we are having a huge influx of cases. People are very uneasy about getting everybody in like buildings. So we were thinking of doing something a little different because we've got a good system for it. So we were thinking of doing like a kind of a grab and go Thanksgiving thing, which is, I know it's not great, but having kids make cards for families and putting the cards in like dinner bags and having the families come through like they would come through here to pick up dinner, and we'll all be there to, you know, bring them out and talk to the families and have, you know, individual cards from kids.
That's kind of cool.
Not the same, and it's not exactly what we want to do, but it's hard to plan for that when we've had over 50 cases, and I'm worried about getting people into the cafeteria unmasked before the holidays and having a super spread event that we caused, right? Like I don't want to do that. So we thought we could do that and then look at doing it at no cost, but if families want to make a donation, they could, because that's like what we had done like the prior year that worked out really nicely. So it's kind of a,
I like that.
yeah, and we would do a thankful for you,
Do you
families,
have
and
like a date or not yet?
well, we had a couple of them we thought we were going to do the in-person thing, but I think Jill, did we settle on the date on the, we know we were talking about just this morning changing it. Yeah. Not exactly what we wanted to do, but
we'll
it's
help you pass it out.
yeah. Well, that was like at least we can get people together and outside, and we can greet the families and do the handwritten cards from the kids to them, and so we can try to make it something.
Did we have one district of one dinner?
We had
and
two.
then COVID? We had two.
We had two.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tara.
Yeah.
And then our upcoming meetings, we have pushed back the district-wide community meeting to talk about the capital planning, but it is at an exciting point, and I hope people will come listen to what we have to say. But the community meeting will now be December 1st. And at our December
9th
school committee meeting, which is December 9th, we will have a public forum to talk about future facility plans. Very exciting, very, very exciting. And our next meeting is scheduled for November 18th at 6 o'clock.
So is the district-wide community meeting December 1st, is that going to be also is going to stay at 6:30?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then
Wait, do I have
capital
those
planning
mixed up?
November 18th?
No, that's December 9th. That's the public forum.
Because we were gonna, Tara, because we were gonna meet as a subcommittee first.
Yeah.
And then at like 5:30.
Right. Officially open their meeting to then have a public forum.
Okay.
Before the school committee meeting.
That's the 1st or 9th?
That's the 9th.
First.
So the meeting on the first, the
gave us
meeting
two
on
answers.
December 1st. The meeting on December 1st is the one with the finance committees,
committee.
board of selectmen,
Yes.
Yes.
capital planning committees from the towns, and us, all of us,
Yep.
to have a big discussion on how we
Where we're
would
at.
like
Will
to
it
move
be
forward.
Presentation.
And that's
Yeah,
December 1st
presentation.
at 6:30.
That's
Yeah.
December 1st at 6:30.
Okay, now
Then
B.
December 9th at 5:30, there'll be a capital planning committee meeting open, and a public forum that will also open our school committee. That will start our school committee early that day, 5:30. But it will start with a public forum.
If we're looking at A, B, and C, what do we cross off and what do we not? That's what I'm
Yeah, just
asking.
No, C is still a regular meeting.
school
C is
committee
a
on the-
regular
That's what
school
I'm
committee
asking.
meeting.
So A is modified to December 1st,
Right.
6:30.
Yep.
B is, that's not happening because that's replaced by
That's
December
no,
9th.
No,
December
it's,
9th.
yeah,
That's
it's
12/9.
modified to December 9th. So it's again modified. A and B are modified.
A
Dates
is
pushed
12/1, B is 12/9,
Yeah.
and C stays the same.
We'll be sending out information on all of that tomorrow.
If
It's-
it's not in my calendar, I do not get here, and we're not doing calendar invites this year, so.
It's all
And
got
I did
changed
it
last night.
wrong
just
today.
FYI.
Yeah, they just changed those. But what about November 10th? Is that a school committee or no?
November what?
November 18th is school committee, yes.
November 10th
18th.
was only going to be for the.
Yes.
It's just capital
capital.
So that's off
That's off.
Are the
for this,
meetings
but we still
in
have that
here?
meeting.
Yes.
What?
Are they in the meetings in here? The first
Yes.
two?
Yes.
They're in
Yeah.
here. Okay.
So A is December 1, B is December 9, our next meeting, November 18th.
Perfect.
Go back and rewatch this portion of the meeting.
Put it
Please
in
don't.
now.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
Second.
Yeah. Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned. Carrie, I'm sorry, but you were long gone.